Welcome to The Patty Show. My name is Patty Setiatti, and in this podcast, we'll explore the crossing point of the three P's: passion, pleasure, and positivity, and how they can lead you to your own personal paradise. We'll chat with inspiring guests, share practical tips, and dive into stories that will empower you to live your best life. Let's get the Patty Party started. Back to The Patty Show, everybody. Woohoo! Yes! Oh my God, great, strong audience. My God, I feel like everyone in the audience, works out. Super strength. Oh man, on this super amazing episode 99 of The Patty Show, the life that you trained for. Oh my goodness, so grateful for everybody out there for The Patty Show. Today, before we start The Patty Show, of course, it's your host, Patty Setiatti, and I have the honor, the privilege to show you all multi-passionate people that I have the pleasure of connecting with. They share their positivity to this world, and they inspire you to pursue your personal paradise. Man, shout out to all my amazing guests. We have an amazing guest today. We'll get to him soon, but I just want to shout out my previous guest, my last guest, my multicultural British, French, Italian-American actor brother, crushing the theater scene in New York, Adrian Rollet. We talk about, yes, shout out to my boy Adrian. Shout out to you, man. We talk about all his amazing roles in theater right now. He's doing a lot of off-Broadway stuff, soon Broadway stuff. I can't tease too much. We talk about wine because his family is part of the whole wine community. He knows all the terminology better than me. I don't really drink wine like that. But we even talk about struggle meals. I don't know if you guys have ever tried macaroni with ketchup. Yeah, it's kind of tough. He talks about it in the episode, but thank you, Adrian, for a good time. Maybe we'll get an episode soon with your amazing cousin, Kai. Shout out to him, and of course, my brother, Arnold. All the homies come together. It's a great episode. Check that out. And speaking of checking out, man, I don't know if you guys want to see this. This is too much fire on this episode. Episode 99, I have a special guest for y'all. Joining me today, he is a fellow proud Indonesian-American actor, producer, stunt coordinator, director. Man, this guy does it all. My goodness, I could have kept listing. There's going to be more, y'all, okay? He's been in series like Amazon Prime Video's Fallout, okay? Season 2, I believe. And most recently, Apple TV's Sugar, starring the legendary Colin Farrell, okay? He's an educator. My God, look at that. He loves the kids out there. Shout out to the children, for the children out there. He spreads positivity to the world. A pastor's kid, plural, with contagious energy, strong, look at those strong shoulders, positivity for days. Give it up for my brother, Victor, right here, my G. Thanks for coming to The Patty Show, bro.
Appreciate you.
Arigato. If you could give a little self-intro to everybody, background, hobbies, how we know each other, everything else, the floor is yours, man. Do your thing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, thank you for that beautiful intro. You exaggerate a little bit, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Also, happy belated birthday,
Thank you.
Give it up to
Thank you.
29 years old. Woo, woo, woo. Asian don't raisin.
45, but thank you.
But he looks great, though, legitimate. Put in the comments his age, 29.
I appreciate that. But yeah, no, listen, where do we begin? So I was born in Jakarta, right?
Jakarta.
Our capital. In 1981. So you guys do the math, right? Patty's been nice to me, but born in Jakarta. Originally, my parents are from Manado.
Okay. Oh, right? There's a Manado team,
there you go, right?
Come on, baby.
There you go.
Both of them from Manado, huh?
Both of them, yes. Both of them.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Man. So why did they move to Jakarta too?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Good question. We gotta ask them.
I was born in Jakarta. Stayed there until I was 2.5.
Okay.
And then immigrated to the United States.
Gotcha. Okay.
There was the Presbyterian Council, if you will, here in Los Angeles, or at least in the West Coast. They were looking to open or create an Indonesian church, right?
I see.
Because there's a lot of Indonesian immigrants who came and who didn't really feel too comfortable with, let's say the American congregations out there. And so they decided to create an ethnic church, mainly of Indonesian people. So my dad got the nod. And, we were able to come here, God's grace, and we've been here ever since. So that was, so 1984, we moved here. We stayed here for a while, kind of established the church. And then 1990, both my parents decided to pursue their master's degrees
I see.
in good old Iowa.
We love Iowa.
Iowa, right?
Where is Iowa again? I forget.
In the Midwest.
In the Midwest.
Yeah, in the Midwest. Like the closest big city is Chicago, right?
Okay.
And it was just my brother and my older brother. And we went there. At first, when my parents would say, "Hey, we're gonna go to Iowa," my brother and I looked at each other like, "What the hell's that?" Right? And they're like, "Oh, this is that." And then you get snow and everything. We're like, "Snow? We've seen it on TV, but like we never experienced snow." I'll tell you one. We got there 1989. Sorry, 1989, late 1989. So around December. Oh, goodness gracious, man. I mean, snow was there already. So we're like, oh, man, this is tough, man. So, like, we had to adjust, obviously. But I'll say one thing. I had a lot of good formative years in Iowa. This is obviously early 90s all the way up to 1993. It's the heartland. And there's just, you want to see, like, Americana, you see it there, right?
Really? Okay.
And we were right there along the Mississippi River, right? So the mighty Mississippi.
That's as American as it can get right there.
Exactly. So it was a great experience. I still have some friends that I still communicate with.
Shout out to the Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowans?
Iowans, yeah.
Oh,
the Hawkeyes.
The Hawkeyes. The Iowans sounds island, to be honest.
That does sound, yeah. I'm like, hey, that's kind of, that's kind of Pacific Islander, yeah.
Appropriation.
Exactly.
The Iowans.
The Iowans, but great place. It's a great place to raise a family. But the church that my dad had helped create, so to speak, things were, I guess, lack of better terms, rocky. And they had asked him to come back, and we came back in 1994, late 1994. So we kind of had to just pick up. I'm sorry, 1993. I apologize. 1993. So we had to pick everything up, move back to Southern California. And it was tough because you're 12 years old, and you established your friends there, and you're leaving in the middle of your 7th grade year, and you're coming to basically a whole totally different country almost, right? And so we came back and we settled, and obviously went through the 90s and then the early 2000s, and here we are, right? So as far as like the film stuff, it started actually in the 80s before when we first moved. So my parents, other than church, they would work like 2 or 3 jobs, like any immigrant family, right?
Hustling out there.
Exactly. And then my brother and I, we'd watch TV. That was our go-to, and that was we grew up with TV. We grew up with the 80s. To me, the 80s. I'm being a little biased here, but the 80s, as far as pop culture and film, television, and music, that was probably the best time, right?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But that's just my opinion, right? Sorry, late
All
millennials,
the hardcore 90s people,
and Gen Z, Gen Alphas.
Like, 90s is like everyone's always saying like 90s.
90s was great too. No, don't get me wrong. 90s was great too, and then it just fell away. No, I'm kidding. I
kind of agree. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't say that.
I say like early 2000s okay, but after that it kind of.
I agree with you. Early 2000s, and then it faded. But again, that's just our opinion, right?
Because R&B in 2000s was my jam, bro.
Ooh, man, remember 112 and
yeah.
Well, you're from the East Coast, so you know that. Yeah. I listened to all the East Coast stuff. I'm like, all the West Coast, East Coast stuff, and I'm not going to name the names, but you guys know who they are. But I'm like, I listen to both, man. Who cares? But
if anything, I think that's better when they have beef like that, because now they want to go even.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So you could tell, like, the East and West, they were like, we got to show out, and then that's good for everyone that's watching.
No,
the people, like, watching them, like, they're like,
those were the golden years, in my opinion. Those were the golden years.
Because now, like, beef nowadays, no offense to Drake and Kendrick, it's like not even the same. It's like fabricated. This is, don't cancel me, guys, but it's true. Like, it's basically, I think the PR teams are the ones that orchestrated Kendrick and Drake to be like, oh, you guys have to have a beef now because it's been like 20 years since a proper beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 plus years.
And they were like killing each other. So I mean,
I mean, they were going off.
Not promoting that, but I'm just saying, it was different days back then.
Physically,
please don't. Yeah,
please don't. Peace.
You have to edit that out.
Yeah.
Right? but no, I mean, it's going through watching that made me be like, all right, you know what? I don't know what else I want to do. Yes, we had aptitude tests. Like, what do you want to do? Like, oh, I want to be a fireman. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was just like, no, you know what? I want to be in film. My brother and I, he's 4 years older, and it's just him and I. Like, I think we can do this. Yeah. I mean, like, we see a few people that look like us, but it'll change, right? I mean, but, hey, listen, we get one shot at this, and what I mean one shot in life. Let's just try it, and along the way, of course, I went to college. I got my undergrad degree in geography. What I wanted to do with it, I had no idea, to be honest with you. And that was my fault. But I decided to take a couple years off, trying to figure something out. And then obviously when I graduated, that was when the recession hit. And I was like, oh, dude.
This time it's crazy.
Yeah. So there was like no jobs available. And actually, I was contemplating joining the army.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like,
I
mean, like Rambo and everything. I was like, I had like a goal and everything. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Boom, get into the special forces and this and that.
And you were already 6 feet back then already,
6 feet, but I was skinnier back then. By the way, I was in a lot better shape. Like I was not as good a shape as this guy, but I was able to like run. You know what I mean? Not right now. Like going up the steps, I'm like, all right, hold on a second. You know what I mean? But that was obviously 17 years ago. But it obviously there was a different path that God wanted me to take, and I had worked these odd jobs. I was a courier. I worked at a pharmacy as a tech. And it just wasn't fulfilling for me, right? And I was like, all right, you know what? That film thing, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem too bad. It doesn't seem so out of touch. You know what I mean? Yes, was it still a pipe dream? Sure, at the time, because I had no idea what to do. And I remember in 2009, when I started doing courier work, I was like, all right, you know what? There's this ad I saw on Craigslist. Okay, I don't recommend it, obviously, but there was this was late '90s, so it was like that slasher horror film, right? I'm like, cool, right? Let me try this out. This is my first acting gig, right? It was in a time where nothing was digital yet. At least it wasn't. You can find it on the internet, and thank God that guy didn't put it on the internet because it was. God, I'm not gonna say the name, but it was such a horrible film, and I did a horrible job, and I was like, all right, I need to improve on stuff, but that was one piece of work that I didn't want ever shown, and thank God there's no like digital trace to it.
Yeah. But it was a catalyst though, because now it was everything,
Right, and I was like, all right, this is what I need to improve on. So I took classes and mainly in the I focused mainly on the method acting because I was I'm in my early 30s. I have some experience, right? I can channel that emotion, and it worked out. And I went with my acting coach, and he's like, you know what, just go out there and do something. Just go out there, start auditioning. Find yourself, get your feet wet, right? So I started in the background. I did background for student films. I started all the way. I don't want to say bottom, but you start at the very you start all the way at the bottom. Then you go through like central casting and cool TV roles and what have you. And I remember there's this one show called Matador, now the defunct I think El Rey station, and I got my shot there, right? My close up.
You were like an agent, right?
No, I was a Burmese soldier.
Oh, Burmese soldier.
And it was a funeral. I was carrying the dude, right? I was one of the four carrying, and cool, you see me? Like, hey, yeah, great. And then I got a little feature, close up on an episode of Silicon Valley. I think it was HBO Max. Yeah, so I was like, all right, cool. It's getting there. You know what I mean?
Stack in here.
It's getting there. So then, I just started doing, just trying to find my way, and. What year is it? It's like 2000. I started 2015. I re-upped 2015 after 2009 debacle, I would say, because I started working, and then I was like, you know what? Let me continue this pursuit, this film career. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go for my master's. So I did my master's in history, and in the meantime, I was like, all right, let me be a student, but also let me pursue this film thing. So background, and then small little roles here and there, and then. Come 2019-ish, I was able to sign with my agent, who's my agent now.
Shout out to the agent right there.
I love her, Erica and Stephanie, Day 7 Talent Agency. I was like the third signee, and this agency was brand new. It's my agent after like a couple decades of working under an agency. She and her daughter decided to open up their agency.
Wow!
So I was like, amazing. The third signee, and 2019. So we all know what happened the year after, right? Pandemic hit, and so I was like, all right, okay, cool. So what do I do? So I was like, all right, I have my master's. So now I'm like, all right, let me just use it. So I started working as a teacher.
There
right?
We go.
Started working as a teacher. I taught the humanities subjects, so the history, English, government, geography, ethnic studies, what have you. So we did that, and then all along the road, it was just kind of here and there. 2023, I decided to quit my job in the middle of it all, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna pursue this hardcore. 2023. So the first year, part of 2000. So I actually left middle of the school year.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, after I left right before the Christmas break, and then so I was like, I'm gonna do this, man. I'm gonna go full on this. And then 2020, beginning 2023 was decent. I had a few things here and there, and then they started talking about a strike in the summer of 2023, and then so I was like, oh, this is not happening.
Life is always...
This is not happening. So I'm like, all right, so what do I do? I'm like, I'm going to wait it out for a little bit. So that whole year, like 2023, I practically did not work. I was like, just trying to, I was doing gigs and stuff like that. But at the same time, too, trying to find film stuff. But it was hard because everything was shut down. And so I came across, I'm going to tell you something, little blessings, right? There was I'm going to shout this out to Haley Garcia. Wonderful filmmaker. She was a student at Cal State Fullerton. I'd applied, I think it was backstage or something. It was a role for a Filipino father. And I'm like, all right, well, give it a shot. There's really nothing out there, right?
Shoot, man. You gotta do what you gotta do.
So I applied or submitted, excuse me. This is not submitted, that's the proper term. I submitted, and she called me back. She's like, hey, we'd like to offer you the role. I'm like, you know what? This is a good story. It's about a young girl, a daughter that mom is pushing to go to nursing school, but she wants to go into art. And I'm kind of like that father that sort of like mediates between the mom and the daughter, right? And I understand. So I'm like, it hits close to home because I'm like, just not me, but like everyone that I know that has Asian descent, like, hey, we want to do this.
There's always that pressure. Yeah.
There's always that pressure, and this kind of hits close to home, so to speak. And I decided to do that. I'm like, look, there's nothing really else out there. And yes, it's a student film, but that student film actually invigorated me to continue because, dude, I quit my job. I was like, income was like scarce, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is just not working out, man. This is just not working out. And I was like, all right, we'll see. Maybe I should. I don't want to use the word quit. Maybe I should reconsider this whole journey, right? But this came through, and then the one thing is, it was a short film, but I was like, this reminded me why I love doing this. Just being on set and just working with the people that think alike, that have the same passion and goals as you. And that actually sparked the fervor again. And I was just like, okay, cool. Maybe I shouldn't, I don't want to use the word give up, Patty, but maybe I shouldn't reconsider this journey. So I kept going. I got another student film that I was playing another dad, but it was a Cambodian dad, right?
He crossed it up all the boxes.
Yeah, like one day I will do Indonesia.
We'll circle around to Indo, right?
One day. And things started coming along. I did a couple of like documentaries, Netflix, the History Channel, playing a Mongolian soldier, one of those reenactments, and then a little film, a little independent feature film. It was like a Filipino-American kind of love story.
Yeah.
I was playing a Bali tattoo artist.
There we go.
And so things started coming rolling around. And then it was like, all right, cool. I have a steady job. Okay, I'm good when it comes to income. I don't have that stress of like where's my where's my funds going to come from, right? Yeah. And in the meantime, too, I started like getting into producing, and I'm like, all right, well, while I wait, I want to be able to be on set somehow, some way.
Make your opportunities yourself.
Exactly. And what a way to learn. You know what I mean? So it's through experience, right? So I started doing that as well too. And then 2024, and then 2025. 2025 was very successful for me. Just kind of waiting a long time. At this point, I had been 10 years, right, since I first started. So 10 years in this business, and a lot of ups and downs. But 2025 was a very good year for me. I shot Fallout. It was basically happenstance, man. I mean, like they were looking for agents, right? And this was like a special role because no lines, but it was featured.
Yeah.
And we're like, cool, let me just try it. And then they're like, yeah, we'd like to book you. I'm like, it's weird. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, I started getting the kind of like the layout, and I'm like, it's a throwback, 50s.
Yeah, like,
I don't think there are any Asians back then. I mean, at least in the FBI, right? I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll take it. And then so, you know, that went, and then we had to do fitting, right? Because it was, again, this was like a throwback, right? So it was fitting. And the same time, too, I actually auditioned for something. I auditioned for a role, for the Apple TV role. And, you know, that was kind of like looming. You know, I was like, all right, well, whatever, you know, I'll send in my audition tape and see what happens. I get a message from my agent while I was doing the fitting for Fallout. And I'm like, it's weird. Why is she calling me, right? I'm like, she usually just everything's through text or email.
Email, yep.
Yeah, and I'm like, is there something wrong? Yeah. And I'm like, my heart was beating. Yeah. And at the same time, I was fitting for like my 50s FBI wear, right? I'm like, oh, dude, what the heck? Like, hold on a second. All right, just let it go to voicemail. Cool, boom. And then I'm like, I'm slowly putting my suspenders and
everything on the whole
get everything. And I'm like, all of a sudden I get a text message thing, boom. Victor, congratulations, you booked it. I was like, oh my God, I just started like, wait, what just happened? And I'm like, kind of like hyperventilating. I'm like,
a lot
what just happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I'm like, 10 years of just waiting, right? And I knew what the scene was. I'm like, I'm not gonna get this, right? I'm not gonna get this. And who I was playing with, and I'm like, oh, hold on a second, whew. And I was trying to just catch my breath, and then just tears started flowing out. And I'm like, oh man, this is like, what just happened, right? And it was funny that the wardrobe guy that was handling me, basically, he heard me like kind of crying, right? And he's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay.
Shout out to wardrobe guy.
Yeah, his name was Patrick too.
Oh, there you go.
I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, Patrick. He goes, you sure? I'm like, yeah. He goes, are the suspenders too tight? I'm like, no.
Shout out to Patrick.
And I explained to him. And he goes, congratulations. And I'm like, this is first time for me. I'm like, I'm gonna be like in this. I'm like, oh man, like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. All I know is, oh shoot, I gotta text my agent back. Oh shoot, after 10 minutes, I'm like, yes, I confirm. Go ahead.
Yes,
do whatever you need to do. Yeah, exactly. And he said, okay, cool. And then that started rolling around, and then got to shoot. Dude, got to work with Colin
Legend.
Farrell. Oh
Legend.
My gosh, he was. I mean, the guy. That's like he's a people's person. He just made everyone feel so comfortable. The whole cast and crew, he set the environment. Yeah, it was just good vibes, just positive. Everyone's here for a reason. Everyone loves doing what they're doing, and it just feels good, man. Being like having a principal role, because you get pampered, man. You get pampered.
You're a king right there.
Yeah, I know. I never felt like that on any set. And not to say anything bad about any other sets. It's just like that's kind of what you're like. That's what you worked hard for, right? That's what you waited all this time for. And after that, got to do a Disneyland principal role. I actually auditioned with my godson, and we got father and son for the Asian-American Pacific Islander father-son at the Disney 70th anniversary. So we got that, and a couple other like independent feature roles independent feature films with lines and stuff like that. So great, just waiting for those as well too, and it takes a while to kind of put everything. And then along the way, just kind of producing, and then I directed my first short film comedy. It's a lot of work. Obviously I need to improve and get better. There's actually room for that. So it's just a lot of things have come through ups and downs throughout this 10 years. And basically you guys just gotta stick through it. You know what I mean? That's kind of that in a nutshell.
And man, it's all the patience, the persistence that you've been doing, man. Like telling you long journey.
Right.
Doing all this in just 29 years old is crazy, man. I mean,
I love it. I started around 29. So he's right.
I guess it's the right age, of course.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I mean, there's also so much I want to talk about because
Sure.
obviously, he couldn't talk about the whole story. We'll get to all the different little details, but let's run it back again to the Indo origins, though.
Yeah.
You were born near Monas, though, right?
I believe so. I was born in the Menteng area.
Yes, Menteng. Shout out to the Menteng.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Menteng. Have you ever? How many times have you been back then?
Okay, since I left, I went back 4 times.
Okay.
So 1980, and unfortunate circumstances. 1989, 88. Excuse me, late 89 or 88. My paternal grandmother passed away, so we had to go back. And in 1998, my paternal grandfather passed away. 2010, a little bit more of a positive light. My cousin, she got married, 2010. She recently passed away from breast cancer, last year. So, it was kind of weird because the last time I saw her, she was at her happiest, right? And then 2022, I went there briefly because somebody got sick. So it was just one of those things where, you really didn't go for vacation per se.
Oh man, I feel you.
Until
man.
like 2010 was the only I guess positive reason where when I went back to Indo. But in the future, I would like to go for like just a little bit more, just
recreational.
Yeah.
Boys trip to Bali.
Right, there you go.
Let me know, man.
Let me
know. Right? No kids and wife. Right?
No.
That we know of.
Yeah, not that I know of. Right. Knock on wood. Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Man, dude, I have a similar kind of story when it comes to going to Indo. Because the first time I went to Indo, me and all our siblings, we went because family stuff, all the craziness over there, and that was like around 2010 actually.
2010. Okay.
Yeah, 2010. Okay. So I went to school there like 2 years, went back to the States, and then eventually I came back to Indo like around the COVID time. And also crazy stories I talk about on my episode, I think episode 50 of the Patty Show, but I went over there trying to surprise one of my grandpas, you know what I'm saying? And then he got sick, and it's always like, it's crazy because everyone always sees the glamour of like vacation or seeing family, whatever, but there's not, the sadness of like family members passing away or people getting sick and everything. So I'm glad that you shared that a little bit with people to give the full picture. Yeah. Because it's also all blessings to see the family in Indonesia. But
right.
In the end of the day, also, Indonesia is always a business trip for me because it's always like you have to see all the family. Yeah. It's not, I can't go for like 2 weeks. Like I have to go for like at least a month, Right. And that's why I haven't been back in like 3 years. So I'm trying to plan a trip sooner. Hopefully it's like I said, more recreational so we can have a fun time, good vibes. Yeah. But man, Indo is just beautiful. Shout out to all the amazing Indonesians out there in Indonesia, in America, Netherlands, wherever you are. If you're single, hit us up. Stop playing. Yeah. That's my little mindless plug.
Right. just know that I'm a little bit older, so some of the older.
It's
okay. MILFs? Can we say that? I mean, is that appropriate to say? Just want to say there's like those dating apps.
Oh yeah,
it's like the age ranges. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Hey, sugar mama, shout out to sugar mamas out there.
Yeah, I mean, those are rare, but hey.
Hey. I have some stories. Mom don't watch this part, but let's just say they help a brother out there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. Thank you to all the sugar mamas. You know who you are. Man. I'll have to hit you up after this. You reminded me. I might have to.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. Take a look at your black book later. I'm like, hey,
we'll talk about the behind the scenes of the Patty Show on the OnlyFans. Patty Show podcast. Yeah. On OnlyFans. That's our only thing.
I'm learning a lot right now.
You're learning so much, man.
Right.
But then moving to the States, bro. But you also we're only like 2.5 years old.
2.5, yeah.
So you're basically American, also, then, man.
Yeah.
Pure American.
Waganegaradesini, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
American citizen here.
Yeah, bro.
That's what it translates to. Yeah.
Proud American.
Yeah, America.
We're like the opposites, bro. Because I was born in Connecticut and then moved to Indo. Yeah. Opposites, man. Opposites attract. Yeah. How was it like? I guess this is a question I also asked myself. I guess not combating, but like dealing with the combative personalities of like an Indonesian and an American. Yeah. They're very different. There's of course a lot of overlap, but how did you handle that, and how are you handling it now?
Definitely, it was a challenge, as you can attest to, growing up. I think we here Indonesian-American, so to speak. Yeah. It's people in Indo are still curious on like how is it how do you guys handle that like that dichotomy, yeah, because if you really look at the Indonesian culture, right, so to speak, very family oriented, and again, look, I'm just calling it how it is, right, very family oriented. There's that Eastern way of life, right, or Eastern culture way of
like
thinking as well.
collectivistic
Exactly. And then in America too, here you're more of like an individual mindset, right? And you can make that distinction. And I'm not. This is not coming from me. This is all observation, obviously through experience, and a lot of people can attest to this.
He has a master's degree. Okay, all right, guys, listen to the boss. All right.
No, but it's you have to. It's hard. You have to juggle that. And for me, what I do is I try my best to take the good things from the Indonesian culture, and I'm going to say it this way: take the good things from the American lifestyle. Right? I don't want to say culture, but lifestyle.
Interesting distinction.
And mesh it in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you have to. Trust me, there are a lot of things that I don't want to say the Indonesian culture, but perhaps the Indonesian way of thinking, the collective way of thinking, if that makes sense, that I don't. I'm not a proponent of. So I'm like, all right, this is not me, right? And then obviously too, there's a lot of things of the American lifestyle way of thinking that I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy into that too. And whatever, I don't care. That's just the way I'm going to operate. So it is hard, especially like kind of growing up, and my parents, even though they've been here probably more of their life than they did, right? But they still cling on to heavily to the Indonesian culture and way of thinking. The values, and everything. I'm glad you brought that, values and stuff. So, it's just it's tough. It is tough, and I can't really explain it. You have to kind of go through it, right? Because I know you understand, your brother understands, and it's that dichotomy that we face, the pressures, kind of like organizing what's right and wrong, and what's best for us, and you have to kind of juggle all that, and a lot of times they don't fit, they don't mesh together, and it becomes hard, it becomes difficult in that matter, and yeah, I mean, I'm still struggling with it today. Don't think like I got it all solved. I don't. I'll probably never solve it. Right?
It's like a puzzle that just keeps jumbling itself.
Yeah, and you're like, I gotta start over.
Here we go. You're ready to do it, and someone throws on the floor.
Exactly.
It's a tough thing because like if you think about both of those like identities, they clash like crazy.
100%.
I feel like I get this a lot whenever, like, I remember going back when I was raised in Bridgeport, Connecticut, so it's more of like shout out to Bridgeport, BPT. More diverse, but we're talking diverse, like, a lot of Hispanics. My friends were like Puerto Rican, the Caribbean people, Jamaican, Brazilian, all that stuff.
Nice.
So, but I'm still the only Asian kid, and then also the only Indonesian kid. So then getting bullied for not being, what is it, American enough.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to Indonesia to school, I'm not Indonesian enough because I have like the bule accent or like foreigner accent, and even though I looked like everybody else.
Right.
So I guess always, it's just weird. Me growing up, I would always feel like the outsider, but that's why like I think of it now as a true blessing because now I can kind of blend in anywhere really, not just for like casting because ethnically ambiguous shit. Like, it helps a lot. Yeah, but like that's why all my best friends are like my best friends from Ivory Coast, my best friends from Haiti, my other best friends from Brazil. Everyone's literally from all walks of life because I've realized even though we're all so different, there's so much that brings us together. Yeah. And that's what the world should be. That's why I love the World Cup. Shout out to the World Cup going on right now.
I love it. Yeah.
Bro, it's crazy, man. Shout out to all the amazing women out there. Sweden, I hope you win.
Sweden. Sweden. Okay, yeah. Swedish. Wait, are we allowed to talk about that?
Of course, Swedish.
Oh, no, we are.
Swedish, Norwegian, all the countries out there.
Yeah.
I had my little solo travels there. That's why I'm gonna have to call my baby mom. Mom, don't watch this part, please. Thank you very much. But yeah,
we'll discuss it later.
We'll discuss later. Yeah. Well, that's the boys' trip, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to...
Yeah. I've never been to Scandinavia. I would love to.
We planning it, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
So we were Scandinavia first. Bring them to Bali.
Yeah, there you go.
Honestly, a lot of my best friends from Bali, like They're from like Denmark and Norway.
Oh yeah. Well, they live there.
Yeah, well, yeah, they like live there, work there. Shout out to my people.
Nice.
You know who you guys are. I love y'all.
Nice.
But I mean, it makes sense because like it's so cold up in Scandinavia. It's like I think only a couple months of the year where it's like perfect.
Yeah.
Like there's always sunshine and all that. But
Yeah.
most of the time it's freezing, bro. So that's why people usually go like to Indo, to Southeast Asia. You know, Bali, all that good
all
stuff.
the beach, all the exotic places.
All the exotic places.
Exotic people.
Exotic
right?
us.
Exactly.
Exotic us, man. Shout out to exotic.
Oh man.
Bro, I love how exotic we are, but we have so much overlap because also we mentioned before this, but Christian family as well, brother.
Yep.
You know, like my grandparents were all pastors. My uncle's a pastor. Cousin's a pastor. Cousins, uncles, grandma's dog is a pastor, probably.
Yeah.
Everybody, Manado, especially Manado.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because, I mean, that also makes us. I don't want to say unique because that sounds pretentious, but in Indonesia, it's majority Muslim. So if you find anyone that's like a different religion, you're like, what?
Yeah.
What? Everyone always thinks like, oh, you're Indonesian, default Muslim then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like what, 95%, right?
Yeah, it's
an accurate assumption, but
and
you're
also,
like, no, I'm part of that 5%.
Yeah, I know, right? And I think it's the country with the most Muslims in the world.
Correct.
More than like Saudi Arabia, which is insane. You know, shout out to all the Muslims out there. But yeah, bro, like. Now adding the whole Christian identity with everything. How do you juggle those three? Because we have the similar kind of mixes and everything.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I as a pastor's kid, and by the way, both my parents are ordained ministers.
That's double, bro.
So the double, right?
The double.
So there's more sets of eyes on
right
me.
there. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you know, here's the thing. When you're always going to get that stigma of, oh, so you're one of those kids. So I'm like, please explain. And look, you're human. You know what I mean? You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have curiosities and all that stuff. And no one's perfect. Right? We're you know, there's just no way. Even if not even living under a microscope, so to speak, within the culture or within the community, that you're not gonna live 100%. Like just, you know, only one person did that, right? And that was Jesus. So yeah, you know, did I have my faults? Did I have, you know, certain things? Yeah, sure. You know what I mean?
Pleasure parties.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
There,
yeah.
You didn't go to the one with the Johnson & Johnson oil, right?
No. I probably wouldn't even be invited too. You know what I mean? So
that's good. That's
I don't
good
have
that you
those
don't get that
credentials. Exactly.
Hey,
I don't have those credentials, but you know, it was just one of those things where, you know, you do your best. You know what I mean? Was it tough? Yeah. Was there a certain expectation that came out of? Absolutely. I've had people come up to me like, you shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that, and I'm like, what am I doing? You know, exactly. And you know, I used to take it like with offense. You know, I'm like, how dare you do that to me?
Calling me out like that.
Yeah. But at the same time too, I look at it too. I'm gonna kind of shift gears as far as what we're talking about. But you know, here in when you live as a minority, so to speak, right? You do kind of bring in those values and since we talked about like the mentality, right? The thought process and how people think in the native country. So certain things that you do may not coincide with some of the things that their values, right? So it's like, no, this doesn't work here. That's not the way I kind of was raised. But I noticed one thing too, and I learned this the hard way, and I learned this kind of later on through experiences. People have their own pressure as well too. There are certain things where, you know, you have to understand that you can't take things personal when people start pointing their fingers and stuff like that. Because look, when people a lot of times people go through their struggles and stuff, and it's very easily you take it on other people, right? Now, is it an Indonesian thing? I don't know. You know what I mean? Or is this solely an Indonesian thing? I don't know. But I guess a lot of people go through that, right? So you can't really take things personal. And I learned that not to do that. Other people have their hardships, their struggles, and they tend to take it out on you, you know? And for me, shifting back to a pastor's kid, well, you're the pastor's kid, you're the pastors. We could unleash on you guys, and you can't do anything. Yeah. There was that misconception that I think people in my opinion, people believe was that, well, they're part of the clergy, they're part of so they have to be able to take our complaints and take our crap.
Yeah.
And they can't do anything about it. And it was kind of tough because it was sort of like, why are you taking it on me? Well, you won't clap back, so to speak. That's what the kids say, right? So we're gonna take it on you. And that's what I face. Most of my life is if something goes wrong, well, take it on them. You know what I mean? And take it on him. So I learned too. The more you help people and the more you do your best to help the community and everything, there's more responsibility on your end. So it's just one of these things where I'm going back to that in more detail with the whole cultural aspect, some of the tendencies that I do not like to pick up from our native culture, right? I'm sorry, but this is just through my experience, and I think a lot of people that a lot of Indonesian-Americans who have told me about that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I think that's what we all kind of experience. So I don't mind calling that out, so to speak.
No, I respect that you call it out because it's one of those things that you don't talk about it, especially you're growing up, you're young. Yeah. Especially in Indonesian culture, a lot of Eastern culture where it's age is
hush,
so
hush. Right.
Yeah, hush hush,
Right.
and then you always have to respect your elder all the
Right,
time.
right,
No matter what, even
right.
if they talk crap about you behind your back or whatever.
Right.
And there's a lot of what's it in English, munafik people out there that are I guess
two-faced.
Yeah, two-faced, hypocritical.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I'm not gonna say that's an Indonesian trick because I've seen it everywhere.
Everywhere, right? Yeah.
But growing up in the Indonesian church, it's tough because you're in a faith where it's always about forgiveness, good energy and all that, and then you got people that are taking money,
pointing fingers,
and oh, why are you doing this X, Y, and Z? And you're bro, it literally says about you can't be the judge, it's one thing to guide people, and be hey, maybe let's not sleep with 50 million women, Victor.
Right. I don't think the count is that. No, I'm kidding. No, that's
we don't count it.
It's a joke, by the way.
If it's in Sweden, don't count. What happens in Sweden?
See, I just haven't been there yet.
Hey,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But you know what I'm saying? It's one thing when you want. It's for anything really. Even with my personal training clients, if I just judge them, bro, they're gonna literally, first of all, they'll hate me, and then even if there are results because they get pressure to do whatever thing get fit and all that stuff, it's never gonna last,
right?
Because it's all because of the pressure. I think, especially with, it's common for the Indonesian tanta to have the arisan, which is, how do you even explain that in English?
It's basically a gathering. I guess gathering that. So long story short,
it's kind of unique. It's very unique.
Yeah, so every month, someone they put in a pot of money.
Yeah,
and they assign one person, a person a month to get all that money, and then it's just I think it's just it's tradition, but also it's just an excuse to get together. Eat, gossip,
and then gossip, basically,
That's basically
it. Because how it works, money-wise for the finance people out there. Let's say it's $100, the total pool, and there's 10 people, so everyone puts $10.
Yeah.
Then Victor's month he gets 100, and I don't get my $10, but you'll still get your money. It's
eventually you'll get it. Yeah.
No one's scamming out there. I don't think there's any. Actually, I might have heard some arisan scam.
There might be all of a sudden they can't find the person. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it's happened.
Hey, I'm sure
they ran away. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like when it's time to once I get my money, I'm like, peace.
Hey man, that's a good for a film right there.
There you go.
Hey, we'll talk about some other films but bro, it's I don't think anyone has done that. But
hope not. Yeah,
we just gave everyone ideas. All the tanta. Thank you, makasih tan.
They're probably I tried it before. With Facebook, Instagram,
you can't hide.
You can't hide that.
You need to move to another country.
Yeah. Even then, they know people.
I feel like we're accomplices now.
God.
At least give us a cut so we can get that Sweden and Bali trip going. You know what I'm saying? But bro, those events, I love the community aspect because with Indonesians, we're really tight with it, But the problem is sometimes when you're too tight, people also get nosy.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, man, because especially when you're in a field that's non-traditional.
Right.
I'm sure you have this question. Everyone's like, oh, what are you doing for work?
Yeah.
How's your kids? How are you getting married? I just heard 28, bro, and everyone's already asking, when you get married, and, like I said, still single out there. My mom, I love my mom. She's trying to arrange this. I love you, Mom. I love you. But, I'm chilling right now,
He has a few more trips to go to for Sweden, Spain.
We got a lot.
I'm sorry,
to South America
yet. Yeah.
Maybe I have to explore all the countries first. Leave in the comments what country the Patty Show should go to next.
Yeah.
But bro, that it's just that tight knit community sometimes can be like a double edged sword, bro. in Connecticut, when we finally, for example, for me, like me and my family, we finally found like a community that wasn't just our cousins, like there was actually some Indonesians in like the New Haven, Connecticut area. Some of them like near Boston, but came to Connecticut for like church gatherings or even like cultural events.
Right.
But the problem with everyone being so close, bro, too many questions, bro. Is it a podcast? Like, what do you know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think that goes with like you're trying your best to kind of to juggle both cultures, right? Because you do in a certain, you want to be able to be around people that you're familiar with, and
absolutely
it makes it easier for you,
because
right?
I love it hanging out with like the food is bomb, bro. You know what I'm saying?
The food is
Indonesian food is the best. I don't care what anybody says.
Homemade, by the way, homemade is just
oh my goodness, like the little extra like oils in there. It don't matter, you know.
I love it, I mean, MSG. Hey, what's MSG?
MSG? That's my favorite 3 letters right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
MSG.
Right. Health?
It don't matter. Throw it out the window. MSG.
Yeah, but you're right about that, because a lot of people try to find comfort, but it is a double-edged sword, because then you're way too close to everyone. You're exposing yourself to like everything that you everything you're doing, right? It's you're right. I mean, you're 28, I'm 45, I have to reiterate that. These big gatherings, that's always like, you're right. Oh, hey, so are you married yet?
Yeah.
Like, not how are you doing?
No, not even,
It's, are you married? Do you have any kids?
Yeah.
You're how old?
Yeah.
Oh.
Even sometimes how much you make it. Now, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's always like, I've got a niece, by the way, and I'm like, all right, you know how old I am. It's okay. She just graduated college, she just graduated high school. You're thinking, you're looking at the difference, like, okay, so that's 18. I'm this old. Right, Tanta, because she's old enough to be my daughter. So cool, yeah. So you get that, and it's just it's just that's just like the culture. You know what I mean? That's like the way of thinking, and I get that all the time. I try to stay away from it, but when you go to these big gatherings, and I'll tell you one thing. I can I say I don't like weddings. Okay, for that very reason. Okay, and it's nothing against the people that are getting married. I love the fact that you're getting married.
Love it.
And these are the people that I've tried to make excuses to get out of the wedding, but I end up attending. But I bail out early. After the food. Of course. But it's just
show face first. Right. Take some pictures.
No. Take some pictures. I was here. Okay. So don't say anything. I was here for like 3 minutes, but I was here. But it's just one of those things where you try to avoid those situations, because it gets repetitive and it gets tiring.
But bro, that's a lot of maturity on your end, because you know that I'm not like it's in that moment you don't know how you're gonna react.
Correct.
Doesn't matter how aligned you are emotionally with things,
right.
But if people ask you questions that are like poking on the like, oh, why aren't you married at this age, X, Y, and Z, whatever.
Right.
If you're smart enough, you realize you don't put yourself in those scenarios. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not the fact that he hates love or anything.
Right.
It's just you're smarter with your peace, and you have to protect your peace, especially nowadays, because online there's people commenting crazy stuff nowadays, and then especially like with Facebook too, like there's always comments too.
Yeah.
And then people can DM you so quick nowadays.
Like you said, you got to find that peace, and you got to be comfortable with it. And before it was sort of like, but it's like you said, if you can avoid the situation, great. Because I don't want to have to always answer those questions, and especially from the same person, who nothing's changed in 2 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
it's just one of those things where too, like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Why are you doing it? Because again, it goes back to the cultural part too. Individual. This is the American side of me, if you want to call it. Is to pursue that goal, right? For me, yes, it's individualistic. Sure, yeah, it's individualistic. Sure, but that's just the way. To me, God, He made that avenue for me, right? This is where He led me to, and I can't fight that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, is having a family, is getting married, and having your 2.5 kids, picket fence and everything. Yeah. No, that's not for everyone. And at this age too, even my community, the Indonesian community, I get looked down upon because you're not married, you don't have your kids, so you don't understand that life. I'm like, I don't. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what it's like to wake up every day having the dependence on me. But I'm a teacher. I understand kids. And I'll tell you one thing. That's not the life I chose and God led me to. So You know, there's nothing,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing you can do. You know, I mean, for me, this is my path. It's nothing against yours, but know that this is my path, and not everyone has to take the same path. You know
And
what I
bro,
mean?
I'm glad that you're sharing that because people need to listen to that more because people always think it's always the traditional path. And it's not even just Indonesian or like American, it's like other cultures too, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Even with American culture, there's like the traditional path, like you were saying.
Correct.
Like, white picket fence, the American dream.
Right, right.
You know, the American dream, you have to
Right.
succeed in the United States. I'm
Right,
like,
right.
no, bro, I could be in Singapore making millions.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly,
saying? Like
exactly.
Singapore or
Right.
anywhere in the world, you can be successful anywhere. So it's
Right.
like having these different unique stories is so important for people to realize like, whoa, I might not be doing the traditional path, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You just have to be patient, persistent, and if you really want it, it'll happen. If not, you die trying, but at least you know
Right.
you have no regrets, you know?
Right.
And you're already doing the thing right now, man. You know,
Yeah.
shout out to all the Indos out there. And it's also tough though when it
Right.
comes going back to the whole Indo thing, because sometimes they just have that in their mind and it's just part of their identity where they have to always ask the questions and a lot of them I would say probably don't have like ill intention, you know. They're not
Right.
trying to be like
Right.
trying to defame your family or anything. They're just
Right.
like making the small talk. So
Right.
going back to you making the smart decision of like separating yourself from it,
Yeah.
that's genius. That's like a really good tip for anyone that like feels uncomfortable in those situations.
Yeah.
Because you know, I don't know how I'm gonna act out when my auntie starts asking the same question.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm not trying to crash out in someone's wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Before the
yeah.
cake is cut.
Right,
you know?
right. Before you get your food, right?
I know.
You're like,
I need my food
shoot,
first. Yeah.
Shoot, I didn't get to my food yet.
I know,
Now
come on now.
I'm getting kicked out.
I know,
right?
for real,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Indonesian church community, everybody
Yeah.
out there, man.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about all your odd jobs, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw you worked at Hollywood Videos.
Oh
Bro,
my God,
bro, my G.
You're making okay,
Bro,
Yo.
Hollywood Video.
Okay, I have.
Tell me about that experience because,
Sure.
man, I love that place. My dad, bro, he worked
Yeah.
at a restaurant, so there was one on the way home, bro.
Yeah.
He would always rent a movie or something at
Yeah.
night, bro, and we would have to sleep because, you know, our mom was the disciplinary. I love you, mom.
Yeah.
Manado style. Manado style, you know, with the little pinchy. And, bro, she would tell us to sleep, but we would just, like, peek through the, you know, blanket to see my dad watching, like, a horror movie or something crazy
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So he does a different movie every single time. So Hollywood Video has great memories. Video games you could rent
Yeah.
out, everything, man.
Right.
You were like a lead over there, bro?
I eventually became a lead, and this was only from 1999 to 2001. It was 2 years, but it was like 2 years of just awesomeness. Right?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
So here's the one thing. I try to. So no offense to Blockbuster, but I applied so many times.
Yeah, but
they just never took me. And I was
Wow.
like, what is it? You know, I'm 17. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm
Is
pretty
this
sure.
a race thing?
Yeah,
Like,
right, no,
come on,
I didn't think about it. No, but it was one of the things. It was like I want to work in a video store, but then I knew I had a mutual friend who was a district manager. No, area manager district. I remember. And he was like, I'll get you in. Cool.
Oh,
Connections, right? Connections,
Hey,
yeah.
yeah.
So I was all right, cool. So that's how I got into Hollywood Video, and it was just so awesome because you know, especially in the weekends, right? Families just flood those stores. You know, we close at 12, so then they can get their movies before midnight, and it was just great to see. Like, hey, what movie do you recommend? This and that.
Oh my God,
And it was
you're
just so
taking me back,
awesome,
bro.
No, it was just so awesome to see, like, and I'm getting nostalgic. Just see those the family getting together, a group of friends getting together, just to enjoy cinema, you know. And you know those were the yesteryears. Obviously, it was a good period of you know, a good period for me. It was, I mean, a lot of. I remember vividly all the people that were there, the customers, my coworkers, just those nights. It was great. It was tiring because you know you're running around, you're talking, and then you clock out at 12. You stay to clean up until 1.
Yeah, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, and then everything's like all the videos cases are lined and stores cleaned and what have you. All the snacks and drinks are you know, restocked.
Make sure the R-rated section isn't messy and sticky with the weirdos out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Hollywood didn't have that section, but we had people that ask, like, do you have the section? Like, no, we're a family store. If you want, go down to M&M Video down the street. Yeah.
M&M Video.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, those mom and pop shops.
Oh.
Right? So it was funny because it was just a great time. And now like on Facebook there's like this these channels that it's AI, and it's like back in 1999, a weekend in 1999, and it goes to like Blockbuster, it goes to video stores, and just everyone playing outside, and you just, man, you
miss
those
that,
days,
man.
Those days of just like, I think everyone was just more social back then.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Even like the video games, because now like it's funny that you can have multiplayer games. Consoles can now play it with other consoles. Before you needed GameCube for GameCube.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's like you can do PlayStation with Xbox.
Right.
Like it's diverse now.
I mean, now you can play with people like, the other side of the globe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Which is like, that's cool and amazing, but I miss the days where you had to go to someone's house.
Yeah.
Sleep over, you know what I'm saying? Then that's why Hollywood was cool, bro, because I remember me and my cousins, we would rent, like, time it so then I could use the game before, like, she was done. Shout out to my cousin Michelle. We were gamers back then, but we were like, I'll use this, and then still got like 2 days left. We'll swap, and then we can just return it easily, because then like our dads would not let us get multiple games, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
of course,
it's too much, it costs too much money, and then all the other stuff. But bro, you take me back with like the videos, or the fact that you worked at that, bro. I remember like talking to some of the guys and girls that worked there, and like asking them, what do you recommend, or like us like looking at different stuff that we shouldn't be looking at, like like the older like violent stuff. I was like probably like 8, 9 years old or something, bro, looking at some crazy like action movies that are like basically R-rated, to be honest. All the gore. So you really, man, you transported me back, man. What movie did you love that you watched, or like that you rented out from them?
Oh man, and as an employee there, we were able to, we get privileges of renting out films as long as they're available. It's funny because they're like, don't get the new release ones, right? Because we want to save it for the customers. Yeah, man. I did like the one that came out yesterday. That's me. We all did that. But man, there was, when I first got there, I remember the new releases were like the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, okay.
I remember taking back. Yeah. What else was that? Affliction. Those are like the new ones.
Yeah.
And I love a lot of movies, man. Like obviously with the streaming services, and you watch it, and sometimes too on cable, you just, oh cool, this is on. You know what I mean? So movies, I think, grew up with it, and watching movies from the 80s, right, in the 90s, that's the one that really got myself, that's what motivated me to get into cinema. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things too, like I love a challenge, so and I'm digressing a bit, but I love a challenge, so it's one of the things, that's why I kind of got into this industry, was like, nah, you tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
He's like, bet, let me know.
Yeah. It's like that MJ, that Michael Jordan, Kobe thing. I can't do it. I'll do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. But it's such a fun process. You know what I mean? And I would not trade it for anything else. So I mean, you're a creative. You're in film and television as well too. There's nothing that beats that. You know what I mean? The sensation.
So much joy, man.
Yeah.
Joy and like hunger. You just want to keep evolving, and it's like you can't sit still.
Right.
Every time I see like a good film or any type of art or whatever, I'm like, man, I need to create something. I have to, I have to make an episode about it. I have to bring the legendary Victor. How do you say your last name again?
Mambu.
Mambu. There we go. The legendary.
No,
himself. Which also, we didn't even talk about how we know each other. Yes.
It's so funny, okay, because we're such a small community, Indonesian community. Even though, if you think about it, we're the fourth largest population in the world. And
more than Brazil.
Right, yeah. We're not even including the diaspora. I hear diaspora.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think diaspora is the more American way, I guess. Let's just say diaspora. So, we're all scattered, like as Patty mentioned earlier. But we're such a small community.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the 6 degrees of separation. Like, this person, this person. So we know people from the Indonesian film community here, just here in LA.
Yeah.
Not anywhere else, here in LA. So it's small. And so I got a hold of them, and by chance, man, I came across this your podcast. Oh. And I'm like, this guy looks Indo. He looks Indo, but I know he could be Filipino too. Right? He could be Filipino. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Casting directors, I can be whatever you need.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You want me to be black? I've done it before. Yeah. I can't say the word though.
No. I was gonna say, I'm like, you got the pass? Or
brother.
No. But I looked at it and I go, I can tell by one thing. last name.
Oh, yeah.
Setiadi, I'm like, that's as Indo as you can get, bro. So I was like, he's Indo. And then I looked at, like, oh, he's mutual friends, right? There's a lot of mutual friends within the film industry. And we're not even talking about anything else, like the church community, and we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier,
And so I got a hold of him, I just did the old school way, the way that older millennials know how to do is just contact the person, right?
Yeah.
I know that's very taboo for someone like the what is it, Gen Z, because you're like, oh, I don't know you, how dare you message me? I'm like, but that's just the way we did a long time ago. So I'm glad I was like, message Patty, and then he was upfront and very, very just friendly and approachable. And I was just like, cool, let's make this happen. We talked about our passions in film, and I was like, oh, this is a lot.
This is gonna be fire.
Yeah, this is a lot. Yeah. I'm like, this is something, because we're like I mentioned that we're such a small community. We need that. In my opinion, the reason why we're not widely known is because we don't have like what I call a central command, right? When you look at like the Filipino artists here, Thai artists here, Korean, Vietnamese, they have certain, I don't say cliques, but groups. They have a central command where they can go to and grow. We don't. We're all scattered, right? This is a history thing, right?
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah.
So that was, I think, in my opinion, was one of the reasons why the Dutch were able to I don't want to say conquer, but lack of better terms, take over, so to speak, because we were not united. It was just a bunch of groups that happened to be Austronesian or the former Majapahit Empire, and so we were not cohesive. Yeah. And you can say that about the Aztecs and because I can go on and on, right? History, but that's, I'm gonna equate that to here. It's like we don't have a central command where we're not supporting and helping each other, and we need that, because in order for us to grow, in order for American film companies to or production houses to be like, let's create more Indonesian stories, or let's create more shows or scripts that has Indonesian settings, we have to kind of show ourselves, expose ourselves, and let people know that we're here. And if we don't have that, then we're always going to fight for the very limited Indonesian roles, or
ambiguous roles,
like a Filipino role, but we're competing against like thousands of other Filipinos or
Pacific
Thais
Islander roles, or something.
Right?
Even Mexican roles sometimes.
Right. No, exactly. So we're having to kind of like flood other gates, and to me, we have to create a presence, and the only way to do that is to be collective and to have that central command where we can support, help each other, other Indonesian-American creatives here.
No, definitely, bro. And I'm glad that you mentioned a little history lesson right there. With the Netherlands, our Dutch.
I love
all our Dutch homies out there.
We're allowed in Holland like that. Yeah, so
it should be good. They feel bad. Mercy.
I'm pretty sure they some whatever.
Some depending on it.
There's some Dutch family too, so we can't.
But
say
even like
that.
if you think of Indonesia, also a lot of people don't know where it's at. But it's like literally scattered islands. So like the different cultures, like people from like Sulawesi, Manado, for example, are completely different from people from Kalimantan.
There you go.
Like it's literally like different countries.
Right.
So
different languages.
Languages, dialects, and everything.
Right.
So I'm glad there's like an Indonesian language. But like when I was in Manado, I remember like they speak like the Manado dialect most of the time, and I'm also like, man, I don't even understand. It's one of the easier dialects to understand because it's pretty similar to like Bahasa, but like when I was in like Kalimantan, Singkawang, they have their own things like mixed with little Chinese, and I'm like, bro, and then like Balinese, of course, is a different thing too. So like you said, that central thing, it's kind of hard because like for years it's been literally separated because of the physical barriers, and then going to an industry that's already very divided, it is getting more diverse and better.
Right.
To survive as like a working actor, you have to be adaptive, like you've been doing, man. The Burmese roles, Cambodian dad.
I did a Native American role.
See, Native American, and it's so hard. And then sometimes you forget. Not to say you forget your Indonesian identity, but like when you cast out there, you probably don't leave with that because it's not like, what is it? The chance of you getting cast is very small because they're like, oh, but we're looking for a Filipino though. Or we're looking for a Vietnamese. Right. The Vietnamese has been rising. That's one that I see a lot recently, and I'm like, man, I guess I gotta learn my Vietnamese. I don't need.
I know. I live by Little Saigon, so I can pick up. No offense. I got the accent.
Hey,
down,
there we go.
We won't
we
do
can't get
that.
canceled just yet.
We won't do that. Yeah.
Don't worry, man. I'm from like I said, Connecticut, urban. I could say a little.
Okay.
We can't get canceled just yet.
Yeah.
Maybe on the second part episode.
At least reach your 100th episode, right?
Yeah, exactly. At least reach the 100th, and then we can go full out cancel.
Exactly.
We're gonna talk about all the scandals that we've been through. Johnson and Johnson.
Oh man.
All the crazy stuff.
Yeah,
bro. That's what I'm so grateful for you, man. This is my flower section of the Patty Show. Flowers.
Okay.
This is literally our first time meeting, and bro, it feels like I've known you forever, man. Like
exactly.
The overlap and like our conversations through like voice note and just texting, it just like felt so real. You understood like what I had in my head from like I moved to LA here like maybe 3 years or whatever, but like the struggle and of just like handling this whole industry, bro, being Indonesian-American, specifically Indonesian-American, because like we're not fully Indonesian, we're not fully American.
Right.
We have that like little mix that it's hard to find anyone that actually is that. Because I know there's also some people in the entertainment that are fully like Indonesian, of course, a lot of just American. But having that Indonesian-American experience, bro, is such a different. Completely different, So it's nice to find people that are going through that path,
right?
Only 2 years ahead of me, right? 29.
Yeah.
So it's really like refreshing to have that. And I'm like, oh, we're not here alone, and and this is why we need more of these conversations and these funny times. A lot of laughter, and just bringing the community together. Because we talk about the double-edged sword, but the good part of the community is when it's really strong is it's not even just a sword. It's probably like a katana.
Yeah.
Like multiple swords, because we're gonna be unstoppable. Like I see, bro. I feel that cusp for some reason. I don't know. It's like I don't know if you feel that like since like I think Indo-Americans, bro. We're like it's there.
Right.
It's that tipping point. I feel it for some reason, not just because I see like all these more Asian roles and other underrepresented communities like getting more or misrepresented communities.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I feel that feeling somehow. Maybe because I'm hitting episode 100, but like just the patience and persistence of people in our community, bro. All the amazing actors that we worked with, all the people in production too, the filmmakers out there. Shout out to Joy that also we worked with together.
Yeah, Joy.
Which also, funny fact, we both played fathers for her.
Joy.
Which is crazy. I played a 65 though. So.
65. Shoot. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think Joy made me play that much older, but I mean, it's doable, man.
The makeup stuff. I'm excited for the clips to come out. That was a really fun shoot. She's so great, and her whole team, everybody. That's what I also love about like filmmaking. Once if you find a good group of like young filmmakers, they have a great support system around them and people that are like hustlers out there. So I've worked with a lot of people that have so much overlap, and it's such a blessing, man. We love seeing the youths out there and the people that are just doing it for the passion, in the game. Because people that do it for the money is not, they might go far and hit us up, But the people that actually do it for the love of the game, the passion, doesn't matter if it's like $0 or $10,000 or whatever it is. They do it because they want to tell the stories. And there's so many amazing Indonesian-American stories. There's so many stories out there that still need to be told, and I'm excited for your future stories and your future project that you're working on. I don't know if you can tease some of it.
Before I get to that, I do want to say filmmakers like Joy and other ones that are other Indonesian Americans that are out there, but also I want to give a shout out to Indonesia as well too, because you look at some of the like the Raid, right? 2011, and then the Raid 2. And then like Joe Taslim right now, right? Joe Taslim, he's did the Furious, and then what was before that, Mortal Kombat, right? And he's like representing, like helping Indonesia kind of get known, right, out there. So like you said, we're getting there, and we're coming, no pun intended, furiously, right? I mean,
literally.
And it's just a matter of time. I think we're starting to get it, and what I mean by that is like we're starting to get develop a formula on how to get ourselves out there. And I want to reiterate that once we put ego aside and everything else aside and come for the community, I think we can be unstoppable. We can get
dangerous.
there.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
It is dangerous because we're there. There's a lot of talented Indonesians and Indonesian Americans with an array of skills. I mean, martial arts to tech to history, all that stuff, dance. There's singing as well too. So music. There's a lot that we have that we just haven't found a way to to push out there. So I think we're starting to get it. and we're coming, we're coming furiously, as I said before, and it's just a matter of time, to be honest with you. Until people start like, oh, okay, we gotta take Indonesia seriously now, and start putting more stories out there, because again, if you think about it too, executives, they're the fourth largest population. That means there's a lot of people that could watch our show, our streaming network, or what have you. And it's like, if we put something out there, hey, maybe all whatever population, however many 100,000 people will actually tune in, and for them it's all about business, right?
It's all about business, yeah. It's about the money. So if we can get the eyeballs to them, which we have a lot, is the country itself, like you said, fourth most populated, are diaspora, whatever it's called. It's like everywhere too, and then that village, man. It's once they see another Indonesian person going crazy, it's just gonna. Yeah, it's gonna blow up. But we just need to make it more consistent, and shout out to, like you said, Indonesia, man. Shout out to everyone out there, man. Yeah. Your future project. Yeah. Yes. Anything that you can tease out there that's coming up for that one?
Right now, and it's under still development. There, two fronts now. There's two projects I'm kind of a part of right now that has to do with Indonesian stories. One, working with my brilliant friend Dirk. He's Belgian, but he's lived in Indonesia. He's worked in Indonesia as an actor.
Nice. That's awesome.
For the longest time, and this is he brought me into this project, into his vision. It's something that Indonesia hasn't seen before. So in my opinion, we're working on it on a series. We have some prominent figures that in the Indonesian cinema that have agreed to be part of. That's as much as I can say now. Okay. And then here too, I myself and my friend Ernesto, who's African American, bought into the story about Indonesian-Americans during the pandemic, and basically just highlights one, how we struggle as one culture or a minority. Also, how actors struggle as a minority, minority in I guess in the field of work.
Yeah, as a profession.
And also too, like just during the pandemic, how everything seemed bleak. That we're juggling all three of those scenarios, and how I think what we want to do is have a universal message that people can understand and can be relative to them. And I think one, as an actor, it's difficult, and some of the things that we have to go through. Also, as an Indonesian-American or Asian-American, how just some of the things that we have to juggle, like we talked about earlier, and during the pandemic, just what's the world gonna be like? Obviously, in hindsight, we obviously that wasn't all the scary parts, all the little things that we thought about. It's never gonna be the same, and I think a lot of things have changed, right?
Of course, yeah.
But just those little things, those factors that we always have to think about and consider when we're living day by day. So I wanted to make that story that a lot of filmmakers and creatives and actors can relate to, but also Indonesian Americans as well too. Want to be able to expose some of the hardships that we go through as Indonesian, also Indonesian American. Indonesian also, and as American, having to juggle a lot of the aspects of the two different, one culture and lifestyle.
Man, it's amazing, man. I read some of the stuff, and I can't say too much, but it's exciting work, and super excited to see what's next. This guy's a versatile guy. We didn't even talk about his martial arts background.
Oh God,
man, what martial arts don't you do, brother? I looked at it, I was like, goodness gracious. I'm like, I gotta make sure I keep my distance. Just
I mean, it's fun. It's something that kind of growing up with, and for me, I'm a master of none. To me, it's just. Do your best to be as complete as possible. I come from the Bruce Lee way of thinking, right? Take what's useful and discard what's not. That's the concept of Jeet Kune Do, but it's just one of those things, right? One of those things where, especially with Silat as well too. I'm not as good as like some of those guys in the raid. I'm not even close to them, but also like Filipino styles, a little Muay Thai, MMA.
Okay.
Just be as well rounded as possible. I'm still a student. I always forever be a white belt. You know what I mean? In those disciplines. But
bro, I love that. Always a student, white belt, white power. Oh, never mind.
Oh, wait,
maybe
no.
not the white power.
I don't think about it. Did I say that? No. But it's just one of the things where you have to put as an actor as well too, right? Not just any actor, right? You have to have some kind of other skills.
Oh yeah.
Besides acting, because that goes a long ways. And just happen to be martial arts and doing like light stunts. I want to say like when it comes to stunts and like light stunts, night and day. Okay, just wanted to say. So the fight stuff, that's like light stunts compared to like some of these like crazy stunt people, what they do. So I want to make sure there's I tell you the difference, and I'm not even close to those super superb stunt guys. Those ones that like risk their lives pretty much. So for me, it's just adding those little talents, right? I mean, look, I wish I could sing. I can't. I wish I could play an instrument. I can't. So that's kind of like the what I have to go by. As because that's just what it is. So just it's fun too, studying those disciplines. And like I said, I'm not a master of any of them. I just love to practice them, and it goes a long ways as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. And also now you can protect yourself just in case. Because
just in case, yeah.
Sometimes in LA it's a little fishy. Some areas.
Yeah, look. If you rob me and you're like, haha, I'm not gonna be like, I'm like, what did you ask for? $5?
I'll take it. Yeah.
Just take it. Just go. You know what I mean?
That's his
smart, bro. Yeah.
Thinking with his brain right here.
You want to take $5? Go take $5.
Go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, get somebody you want. Let's go down like Taco Bell. Whatever. Yeah. Well, that's what you want. That's all you have to say. Yeah.
I know, for real.
Yeah. I mean,
you already have the intimidating shoulder, so you're already. I think they want to mess with you.
Yeah.
Or you just start doing some random poses. That's what I usually do. If there's someone crazy,
if you see this guy like work out, I just saw something like, geez, man, this guy is like,
he gassed me
man,
up too much, man.
Woo! I mean, like, and he's being humble about it. I mean, like, I seen some influencers that do some stuff. This guy, I mean,
I got the my friend.
You gotta expose that more. You know what I mean? So
what I'm saying? You're right. You show the goods, as they say, but
exactly.
It can't be free. Only on the OnlyFans. Oh wait, never mind. Mom, don't watch this.
Is that something else?
Like I said, the Patty Show podcast. SHHHHHOW. I wish maybe that'll actually help fund some of the future stuff because our producer here is low on money. Yeah. Producer Patty, hurry up, man.
Hey, LA's expensive.
Hey, LA is expensive, bro. But bro, the different martial arts, bro. I've done Muay Thai when I was in Thailand, which was so brutal, bro. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah,
dude, crazy. One of my friends.
That's a bucket list, man.
Bro, one of my friends in Indonesia, he's an amateur fighter in Bali.
Nice.
My boy, man, he's great. He's undefeated right now. I think he's 4-0, but he's a beast, brother.
Yeah.
The beatings that he takes, he's also a coach.
Yeah.
He whooped my booty, man. This guy is crazy, man.
Yeah.
The training that these like martial artists have to do, discipline, coordination.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sweating, they're bruised up here and there, man. I've never seen the training for the Filipino martial arts. What's it called?
Kali,
Eskrima with the sticks, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. I only knew about it because of Nightwing.
Yeah.
Bro.
Sticks.
Dude, that's how I knew about that shit. Originally, I was like,
and they actually give credit to Eskrima, which is weird. Yeah,
that is very unique. I was like,
yeah.
But
not weird, but you know what I mean.
It's unique. You're like, shout out to DC Comics out there. Maybe if you need an Asian Nightwing, let me know.
I
have to learn from my brother. Cause I don't know. Only 6 I know is maybe some church drums and church guitar. That's why I use.
There you go.
I know that's all.
See, I don't know that part, so you know what I mean. Like, I'm not good at that, so like that's the only sticks I get to work with.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's the training like for that, bro? Like, walk me through like a session if I want to learn that.
So initially, the way that I learned was the sticks first, right? First, footwork, and then sticks. You before anything else, you learn with sticks first. You get angle familiarization.
Angle familiarization.
Yeah. So I mean, the cool thing about that is like you understand the concept of angles first, and then there's obviously drills and strikes and what have you. First, you learn the basics, and then you kind of just progress with that. Yeah.
Damn, bro, that's so cool. Different angles with the sticks, man. That's definitely an Asian martial art. Shout out to geometry.
Yeah.
Stay in school, kids.
And I didn't do well in geometry, but I was
me neither, bro.
Oh, if you okay, now I get it. I went through that. So yeah.
See? There we go. Well, bro, that's insane, man. And the sticks, are they like a certain weight, and what's like the material? Is it like bamboo?
It's like rattan sticks. That's the normal practice sticks. I have some kamagong, which is a little bit harder wood.
Oh, okay. What's it called? Kamagong?
Kamagong, you know, I mean, it's just to help, like, you know, flexibility with.
Okay. Well, you saw that little.
Yeah,
we have to slow it down how fast you're moving.
No. And I haven't practiced in a minute, so. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's again like with Filipino martial arts. Not only do you understand, there's a lot of attributes, right? And same thing with silat too, like Indonesian martial arts too. They kind of go hand in hand. There's differences, but there's similarities as well too. But you know, the one thing you get to work on is attributes, right? And you develop those self-preservation skills and self-perfection skills as well too. That's the beauty of these Southeast Asian martial arts. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, man. No, because silat's also another one that's so beautiful, man. I wish I could have learned it, but
and you still can.
You know,
you still can.
Maybe we'll do a class.
I'm still learning. I'm still a practitioner, and you know, I think that's the beauty of it, but also the cultural aspect of it too.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
You know, you got to be proud of it, and that if you know, good thing like the Raid showcased that. The Raid 2 showcased that. In fact, I think some Marvel, some Batman, DC as well too. Showcase that, and you know, they may not credit it. You'd have to kind of dig into some of the articles and some of these like fight choreographers, like, oh yeah, I took a little bit of silat, this Indonesian martial arts or whatever. Yeah,
there's a lot of them that do like John Wick stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Because also the movements are very like practical. If that makes sense. Like it's like
it's practical, but it's graceful.
Yeah,
you know
there we go. Yeah. I'm here to F somebody up.
Yeah,
gracefully. You know what I mean?
You know, it's so funny because you see like a lot of these practitioners, and I've met Kang Chechep, right?
Oh my
God, right?
Legend,
nicest guy in the world, right? But like, you just want to mess with the guy, you know? Because I think with us, you know, we're Indonesian, right? They're always, they're just so hospitable, right?
Yeah.
But like, you know, we can go from 0 to 10 like in a heartbeat, right?
Easily.
But it's just one of those things. I think that's part of the silat mentality too, where it's like, you know, just element of surprise. You know what I mean? I think a lot of the Southeast Asian martial arts have that. So,
man, that's amazing that you like blend all that together. We gotta take a class together sometime.
We should, man. I mean,
let me know, man. I'll get whooped, but it's
no. It's again, it's all about just training. It's about being the best version of yourself, right? You can't compete, right? I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, you know, obviously there are competitive, there's sport ones, right? And you are competing to beat your opponent. But this one is really just, you know, for you know, these combat art, not combat, sorry, warrior arts, if you will. You know, that's been proven on the battlefield through the colonial era, you know, colonial days, what have you. And it's just one of the things where you just train to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, and it's a form of fitness that's like really great for people that are like still struggling to figure out what they like, you know, because there's the mental component too of like the breathing techniques, meditative for a lot of these martial arts, and like discipline is like one of the most important things for any of these, and it all overlaps. The more disciplined you are for anything, you'll start getting better, even if it'll take I don't know, 10 years, 12 years, it might take me 50 to be good at silat. But if you keep showing up for anything, like filmmaking too, if you show up, man, it could be just like that slasher film that you went to. But at least you did. At least you showed up that first time. You needed that first time to like go crazy. It's like my first episode. I did it with my best friend. It's still in the same couch, but like the angles were funny and the audio was a little funny. But hey, now we're on episode 99. It's all about taking that step and being persistent.
There you go.
Persistent and being patient and just keep taking those different steps for anything that you want to do. So it's inspiring, man, all the martial arts and everything. And you've done a lot of like stunt work though for.
I mean, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't want to call myself like a stunt man. Like I don't want to take a credit away from like those guys that do the craziest stunts. But you know, falling or getting pushed is considered a stunt, right? So you know, you get that credit. But yeah, I mean, I could. I worked on a few like independent stuff and as doing light stunts, also as a stunt coordinator. And again, these are basic stunts, so it's fun. I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to improve on, and that's the beauty of it, right? Is just to learn and get better and get more experience in doing so. And again, it's just to become the best version of yourself. Yeah, you know what I mean. So. That goes to martial. That goes to film too. Yeah.
You're very adaptable, man. I mean, you know, the range, man. He does it all. Martial artist, and even though you hate weddings, though, wedding officiant, bro. Like, how did you get that, bro?
Goodness. Well,
tell me.
You know, it's funny because being my dad as a pastor and my mom as well too, and sitting there having to watch them perform weddings.
You've seen a lot then, probably.
I seen a lot. Believe me, I seen a lot, and it was like, well, my dad and I are almost the same size as far as built, but I'm a little bit taller. So I like, hey, he has an array of like different pastoral wear. So it's like, oh, do you have your own robe and everything? I'm like, got that covered. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, I land that gig because of that. Like, oh, you do? Like, do you have, like, which one do you want? You want Holy Communion? You want for a wedding? You want for this?
You hit them with the selection.
Oh, yeah. So then, they're like, okay, we'll book you, right? So it's one of the things where, and, you just kind of perform and it's acting, right?
Yeah, of course.
You just have to, they're happy. It's their it's the best day of their lives, or you have a funeral here, and a little more somber.
Depending on the character.
Yeah, depending on the character, depending on the
that's
situation.
True method acting. Like this, he's a practice of his school right there.
Yeah.
He practice.
No, like, if I was someone sitting there, I'd be like, let's just get rid of it. Let's hurry up. Let's move along. I mean, I don't want to be here. I can play that little extra role, right?
Yeah. I know, but I want to talk about that method acting though, bro.
Sure.
How do you jump into characters then? For people like that don't know any of these like acting schools and techniques, because people think like acting is just la di da di da play. Right. I am this guy. I am Jack from Titanic. Like, there's methods behind it. Like, tell me more about the method acting and how do you approach it?
Yeah. So it's really it depends on what emotion it calls for, right? If we're playing like let's say it's more dramatic, right? And the situation's tense or a little bit more emotional, you tap into something that made you feel emotional. Right? Obviously, you look at the script, you study it, and then you try to recall a situation that made you feel on what this character is feeling or what this scene is feeling. And you kind of have to just go to your registrar and be like, all right, I remember this chick broke my heart. Yeah. Oh,
who is this chick? You want to shout her?
I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's how I felt. I remember those sleepless nights. I remember how I felt afterwards. How do I channel that? I'll tell you one thing too. My one way I use is music as well too. Music's great. I love music, and this is why I love the 80s and 90s, because there's so much like emotion to a lot of these like love songs, and like, okay, what love song can I pick to match this scene to bring that emotion out, right?
Yeah.
And just having to hear it, blah blah blah, will get me in the mood, because it's funny. Music is like a soundtrack to your life, right? You just got to figure out which songs are part of that. And so, I just dial back and be like, all right, I remember feeling this. I remember listening to this song when I felt this, right? So listen to that song again, and then just kind of close your eyes, capture that moment, just reminisce on how you felt, during that time. And it's just one of those things where, like, open those scars again, kind of in a good way, right? So that way you can get into character when when it's time to perform.
Wow,
that's my method in that. I think music has a lot to do with that, because it really helps bring out the emotion needed for that particular scene.
Dude, music is crazy, man. It really like transports you. Even like, it's funny because sometimes, I mean, the lyrics, if they match with the scenario, it's perfect.
Oh, perfect.
But I have some songs, bro, like I don't know the lyrics. Like they're, let's say Spanish, because I used to date a Puerto Rican girl. Shout out to
Shout
out the Latinas out there.
Yeah.
But like, these lyrics, I don't know anything that means. Most of the time, it's like slapping the booty and whatever. But
it's a different emotion, right? Yeah.
I guess. Physical, but like, it always takes me back to certain good memories, and then I'm like, okay, then using the music for anything, like you said, with the method acting, but you can use it for anything really, like a mood booster, or if you're trying to like lock in for something. I've been using it a lot now recently for like the gym now, because before I used to be strictly no headphones, nothing like that.
Right.
Now I've been like experimenting on like heavy hardcore rap that reminds me of like the hood and the struggle times, or like
Bridgeport, right?
Yeah, Bridgeport, shout out Bridgeport.
Yeah.
Or like heavy metal, like. That also reminds me of the Bridgeport era, because we used to listen to that pop punk, punk era. So it just transports me back, and it gets me to a mindset of like, I'm so grateful for it right now. Like, I'm doing the things that I love, personal training in the morning, acting, have a stable job, this podcast, of course. I don't want to say I have less struggles, but maybe I do have less struggles than when I was younger, objectively. Like, I wasn't having to worry about like looking for a job and being still young. Like, I'm grateful that I have all this stuff. So sometimes me channeling back the days where I'm struggling, bro, like I used to stay in my brother's air mattress, and like we used to all stay in one small room. sometimes channeling those emotions really get me like angry and makes me push that extra weight or whatever. Or like getting to a scene where I have to be like really frustrated or be someone that's really emotional, man. So you saying that music thing really took me to those different moments. It's like it transports me to that thing. And it's a good tip for anybody that wants to try that, because I'm sure a lot of people don't think about that, because you know, if you're not in the industry, there's people think like, oh, I'll just use music la-di-da-di-da, whatever. But there's those tools that art, man, that's why we have art in this world, and we're not just like chimpanzees. I mean, I think they listen to music too. I'm not too sure. I don't have like a degree in animal science, you know. That was my other degree that I was thinking of getting, you know.
Anthropology?
You know, anthropology, anthropology, fun one, you know. Zoology, all that kind of stuff. But wow, method acting, man, that's amazing, man. You really get into those characters, man. And you've also played another interesting character as a border agent. You gotta step around. Tell me more how you got into character for that.
You know, it's just really, it just happened to fall in my lap, and it was like, all right, well, you know, just take it. You know what I mean? This is interesting, and ironically, well, one was for a comedy, and the other one was drama. And again, you know, you think about it, you're playing it, right? You're just playing it. You're not thinking like, oh, maybe I should apply, right? No, you're playing it. And the funny part about it is one of them, I won't say which one. We were outside, and we were in a kind of, I want to say, busy street. But people are like, these, you know, like we were getting like yelled at, and how dare you, like, where's the PA to be like, hey, this is a movie shoot, right?
It's not really.
Because I mean, it's sort of like, all right, we're in a dangerous position right now, right? Because there's only two of us, and
it's hostile.
You know, we're waiting for the action, you know, to walk into that to that establishment, and like, of course, there's nobody that could be around, like no PA, no crew people, because that's where the shot is coming from. So it's one of the things where like, well, couldn't you be like off screen and be like, hey, this is a movie set. So we're like getting like heckled and everything.
Bro.
Like, oh, dude.
Also, it's scary because you never know what's gonna happen. Someone can swing out.
And then the thing is, we had our back towards them, so to speak, and like, oh man, if we get like thrown at someone,
someone's
just
on
like,
the wrong timing. They're like, man,
So we're like, I remember having to look back, and like, it's like, and I remember from the interview, hey, can you tell Victor stop looking back? I'm like, I'm just trying to protect us.
Right? I'm trying to die.
I want to make sure. It sounds like the voice is getting a little bit closer. You know what I mean? So we're just like, all right, just let's.
Hey man, you would survive in Bridgeport. That's how you gotta survive. You gotta look left to right, bro. Hey, left, right, twice at least. You know, like
right. You think like Hollywood, you're like, oh, come on, man. Right, but you know, obviously, you know, politics aside, you know, it's a role. You know what I mean? And it's part of the story, and it's a significant part of the story, right? And really, you know, just to get ready for that role is like, just be authoritative. You know what I mean? If they call for someone to be authoritative, and I actually had to do a stunt because we were arresting that person. The movie's already out, so I can say we were arresting that person, being really aggressive with that person. So it's just sort of like, all right, just, you know, channel your inner like authoritative. You know, I got to get this job done. But at the same time too, it's like, do I like my job? It really doesn't call for it, but I have to do my job. And I have to do it in a manner where, obviously, in this case, this person is resisting, so I got to put a little force in. Obviously, there's a little light stunt work that goes along with it, but for the most part, you know, it was, I want to say it was one of the easiest roles, but yeah, just be authoritative. You know, really didn't have that much lines, but you know. But
that's good for those characters. I think it's also good that you separated the character from, you know,
you
know, he's not abusive like that, guys. Okay, please.
Yeah, please.
Ladies, he's a good man. Okay, please.
As soon as they yell cut, like, get this vest out of there. Get just for my own safety, right? Yeah.
No, but it's those roles. I'm trying to think of the antagonistic role. I've played like, no, I don't think I've really played an antagonistic. Maybe in theater. In theater, I did play like a villain. And that's one of those things where, like, if you play like those, mentally unstable people that are like a Joker kind of character, it's like it's fun to channel, but for something like that, that's a little real, especially nowadays, man. It's like, that's one where you really have to separate yourself from the character. Because I played before, like a troubled teen before, like a similar vibe to like Bridgeport, but like Brooklyn, you know, high school and everything, and that was I say easy because, like, you know, I was around it. So I was like, I'll just channel my boy. I'm not going to say the names, but, you know, I can't get canceled, guys.
This is perfect, yeah.
Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah. It's like my history class. I remember my guy who was yelling at the teacher for this. I'll just be exactly like it, you know? So it's like, these characters, there's so many unique ways in acting. And I think that's the beauty of, like, the entertainment stuff. And then you can kind of play around with all the different roles and everything. But yeah, speaking of crazy times, music videos, man.
Yeah.
You were a zombie.
Yeah.
Man, looking good in that music video, man.
Yeah.
How is it like acting in a music video, compared to like a film, short film, and like a commercial or anything like that?
It's definitely different. It's a lot. It's the environment's a little more loose. I think with this, just this particular one with the with the makeup and all that stuff, it's a little bit different. It was just messy. You know what I mean? And you had to kind of go through that, and it was I can't remember who it was for. It was so long time ago, but I think because you're working directly with the artist, and usually the artist is directing it, so it's a little bit there's not as much pressure, so to speak, and it's just sort of like, all right, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, just have fun with it. So it was a little bit more of a fun. The environment was a lot more fun, a lot more loose. And just different than some of the other projects that I worked with.
Yeah, man. You've done a couple other music videos. I think that one was with Echo.
Oh, Echo. Okay, yeah. That was
World of Adults.
World of Adults.
Check it out, guys. You'll see
that was about 2000. My goodness, 2016.
2016. Yeah, he's good. We're quizzing him right now with all.
That was good.
Yeah, man. I mean,
keep me on track.
Yeah, I got you, man. I mean, like I said, this guy has so much amazing work, man. Shout out to it's so cool, man. Seeing like the timeline. I love that you have all the the dates and everything, and because it's also cool to look back at it, because like, wow, like especially in this field, bro, where we have some years maybe that's on the low end and some are on the high, but then you actually look back and explain, you're like 10 years old, like, wow, I did X, Y, and Z. I did a music video. I did like a commercial. You done a lot of other commercial stuff, and like maybe some voiceover stuff as a priest.
Yeah.
Hallelujah, brother.
That was like the first one I'd done. Yeah, it was like, I think it was a spec, but it's funny when you mentioned like, oh, I love how you dated these, and to me, it's I know for most actors it's like, all right, I do it, put it behind me. The ones that really stand out for me as on my resume, I'll remember the dates. But for me, I want to try to date every single one of them, even the background and stuff. Yeah. Because I remember like those are the small victories, right? Everything is a victory. So even if it's a small little background role, I'm just blessed to be on set. You know what I mean? So you have to look at it as a victory, small, big. Everything that you do is a victory.
Absolutely. And you mentioned before with the other story where how like you getting back into it is always just that little ember that makes the fire keep going. Yeah. And like I was on set. Was it yesterday? Maybe. Tuesday, and it was like a background role, but I met so many great other actors, and like shout out to the ADs out there. They're gonna be on the podcast too. My boy Zach over there. But like it's like you meet so many great people, and that are in the industry that have the love, the passion, and like these guys don't get. I mean, some of them probably the upper boys get paid a lot, but like even the people that are like PAs and everything, it's just fun to interact with the people that are here in the same industry. We literally from all different walks of life. There's a guy that's from Jamaica. There's this guy from like Atlanta that's married to a Thai girl. Shout out to my boy out there. I love the diversity out there. And it just brings everyone together. So it's such a cool thing. So it's always nice to be on set. And literally, bro, I was telling my brothers like that Tuesday, bro, I was like, like my body was just not feeling right from all the traveling and everything. I don't even know. My stomach was like acting up, and I'm like, damn.
That's that MSG, right?
Probably, bro. From going back home, bro, I was not eating right over there. I'll tell you that.
But it was worth it.
Yeah,
right?
it was worth it. But bro, I was like, damn, we're in the sun. I'm like, I'm dying. But then it also it gave me like questions to myself, like, do I want to keep doing this? And I was like, yeah, I want to be here. Even if I'm not feeling the best, I'm gonna be on set. Whatever they need me to do, I'll do it, And then the blessing, bro, from God, man. They wrapped us early, bro. Instead of like 8 p.m., it was like 6 p.m. I was like, thank the Lord. Because I probably would have passed out, to be honest.
And those 2 hours make a difference in LA. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I'm real true. I probably would have passed out, to be honest with you. So it was perfect, actually, timing. And also, I'm like, this it was like $600. I'm like, I can't make this working at the restaurant, bro. I remember being, then it goes back to the method stuff, bro. I was thinking about my times working at the restaurants. I'm like, I barely made $100.
Yeah.
When I was sick as a dog, and I couldn't call out. So I was like, man, stop being a little beep. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Patty, you gotta, hey, young Patty would be dying to be, well, I'm already dying from the sickness, but so it's just like, getting those memories is amazing. And it also like is this thing. Have you listened to Diary of a CEO, the podcast before, with Stephen Bartlett?
Okay, I've heard that name before.
Yeah.
And someone's pushed me, but I just haven't had a chance.
Yeah. So he just has so many podcasts. Shout out to him and the whole team. But a lot of his podcasts is similar to like this vibe where he brings people from like all different backgrounds and they talk about like their different expertise and everything. But one of the things that I think maybe like one psychologist or there's so many experts on that podcast, but they talk about how like to beat imposter syndrome, you have to really just keep doing the things that your identity would want to do. Like let's say you want to become an actor, well, just keep acting. So you take roles that maybe let's say is background or something like no lines or maybe one line or quote unquote small roles, but since you keep doing it, you feel comfortable with saying like, yeah, I'm an actor. Yeah. You know, and some people are SAG, so that it's easy to flex the cards. So, you know what I'm saying? But then even if you're not, you know, you're like, what were you doing last week? Oh, I was at a shoot. Oh, okay, then you're an actor. And then even if people say otherwise, I think my biggest critic is always myself, you know, and I'm sure you feel the same, bro, as someone that's like super ambitious where we always want to keep striving for the best, And even like the weeks where I feel like I'm not getting anything with it, it's like, man, your mind really goes into a little tangent. So just finding ways that you can just be in the industry, whether it's that or like taking an acting class, you know, or taking anything that's creative, it really helps with the whole process because the second that you need to get called back into there, like maybe you're doing a fitting and you get a big role out of nowhere, you're always ready because you have the creative juices flowing. Because I've had times where I might have lacked a little bit because like, you know, maybe it's like a month of nothing really in entertainment and then it always comes when you're like not ready, quote unquote not ready.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I can't say what it is, but I was not ready. But I got a major soap opera. Lines, you know, I'll let you guys get it, but it's a major soap opera. Lines, 2 scenes, and it was like I don't remember, you know, auditioning for this because I remember I was sleeping actually, and then my agent. Apparently she texted me a couple times and then she called me a couple times and finally, you know, like the third call I pick up because I'm like, oh, okay, what is this? What does she want? I'm looking at like, oh shoot, I better pick up. I'm like, hey Victor, are you available for this show for this date? And I'm like, oh, let me think about it. And I'm like, and of course I'm getting the cobwebs of just waking up. I'm like, no, of course, yeah. And I haven't taken the day off or anything from work, so I was like, I'll figure that out, right? Yeah, of course. But it's just one of those things where you just explain like, how did I get? Why? You know, so you don't question it. Yeah, you ride with it. Yeah, right?
And you gotta always be ready, man. In this industry, it's both a scary thing because also like I feel like I'm low-key type A. You know, I want things organized a little bit, but also you need the balance because you need the discipline to get things going and, you know, really progress. But this industry is really like on a dime, bro. You could end up being number one in call sheet. I don't know where, just be back. I don't know where, do this, the X, Y, and Z. You just gotta be ready for all the punches. And if you love it enough, you'll last for your career. I mean, you've been doing it for how many years now?
Oh God, like I would say collectively, like 11, 12 years.
Bro, you know, starting when you were 10 years old, now you're 20, you know, it's crazy, man. Right, you know, like
I had the ambition at 10, but this guy, man.
You know, I got to. I'm not good with math, but math, I am good. 29 at the heart, you know. Exactly. Man, you've done so many roles, but I could list a lot of them, bro. But the one I'm also very curious about, bro. There's like a festival run you did where Moon Dance is the movie.
Yeah, you know,
he's playing as a dad.
Yeah, so that was like
your first dad.
That was my first dad role.
There we go.
To be honest with you, I don't know where that project went. It was an independent piece. I don't know where it went. I was able to play a dad, and that started. And we talked about this before, as far as age. It started with he was maybe about 10, 12 years old, right? And then I started getting more dad roles, right? For similar age, 10, 12. Cool. Then I started getting more. I started getting more dad roles, but then the kids started getting older. You know, like early college. Yeah, you're like, and then early 20s. You're like, dude, where did the years go? I'm like, this isn't a span of like 3 years. Like, did I age that fast? So but you know, I love the dad roles. I really do, because even though I'm not married or I have no kids, but you know, I'm that godfather, if you will.
And educator. Come on now, basically a dad at that point.
Right? I love playing the dad role. because I think, just that mentorship, but also just that, just some of the roles that I've been fortunate enough to play, is something like, it's just empowering. You know what I mean? It's empowering, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. It's rewarding too, just to be able to be that person that encourages you to do what, to go for your goals, to be that disciplinarian, but then have a change of heart, right? Just like the film I did with Joy, right?
Yeah.
And just the array of emotions that, because it makes me understand too, like what my dad went through.
Oh, yes,
you know what
bro.
I mean, right? And you can attest to it as well too. They're like, oh, okay, I get it now, and through these stories that have been written by other people. But it's one of those things where I think for me, the most rewarding roles that I've had were the dad roles. And that one student film that I did that really sparked my just lit that fire again was dad role, and it was just like, I love being here, but also love playing these kind of roles.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, that's amazing, man. So if you got daddy issues, just be a dad in a short film or a film, TV series. That's the solution.
That's the cure. Yeah, I mean, really, it really is. Yeah,
man.
Yeah, and if you don't want the responsibility, you just play it,
exactly,
and then you'll find that fulfillment. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No more baby mama drama.
Yeah, you don't have to have that
drama.
Yeah, just play. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice. It's like this. It's nice having an on-screen family. But then they get to go home afterwards. You get to go home.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for their dinners. You don't have to pay for their college.
I mean, there'll be dinner on set. You just it doesn't come out of your pocket. That's the only thing.
Now we found the solutions for everybody else.
right.
If you're in LA, daddy issues, and you broke, just play a dad.
There you go.
Oh man, but
there are plenty of roles out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of dad roles out there. Honestly, I mean, even I was a dad, which is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that was wild. But bro, I love how you mentioned how like you understand your dad even more, bro, because you have to really channel those like emotions, and dads are such complex characters, man.
Yeah.
Because they've been sons before, they've been kids before, they've had dreams maybe before, and like it's so fun to work with those different layers, because like playing a character that's like a young, a new hero. No offense to the people that like playing a little protagonist, young hero, those traditional things, but it's very like, what is it in English, like polos, like I guess like a baby, like a newborn, very, I don't want to say bland, but very neutral, It's just like, that's what it is.
There's no substance to it.
There's substance. That's it. Yeah, substance. This is my translator, right? The language in my head just get a little jumbled up. But yeah, there's no substance to it. So you kind of have to find your own substance. But with dads, bro, there's so much out there. You could be like, oh yeah, maybe he dated this girl before, he married with this one. And now you can make those different storylines. And it's so cool to play characters with so many different layers, and that's just like a basic dad role. But sometimes there's like, the Asian-American dad role, or there's like a ex-cop dad role or something, and there's even more. Right. And it's just so fun. I'm geeking out on the little like the scene study stuff, and I'm sure you get it too, where you like you can make so many different connections for these different characters. But shout out to all the dads, independent dads, future dads, baby daddies, daddy. In the future, right? Not anytime soon.
And Father's Day just passed, right?
Father's Day just passed. Shout out to the dads out there. All the inspirations out there, man. I want to talk about this funny character though too, man. Weed and Whiskey, Big Bong Dynasty, as a wise master. Hi, bro.
It was fun because you get to. I was playing a. It was basically just it was a spoof, right? It was taken from like the old Chinese type of like kung fu films. You have the master, then you have the students, right?
Yeah.
But it's nothing to do with like life or martial arts.
Yeah.
It all had to do with how he rolled a blunt. You know what I mean? So it was a fun project. That was one of my first comedy bits, and then I had to have the white hair, that spray painted, and then the attached long
like the
beard.
big goatee thing. Yeah.
It was fun, and we shot that in Santa Barbara, so it was a pretty fun trek there. Santa Barbara's nice, right?
Beautiful,
it's beautiful. Man. So it was like cool, but it was fun. It was fun.
I picture that. That's so funny, man.
Yeah, I like to do more. I like to do more. I was like, you know what? I love comedy.
Yeah.
And now that you actually brought that up, that was like, I remember after rapping, I was like, I want to do more of this. I think it's pretty fun. It's speaking loose, you're a lot more loose. You get to laugh.
experiment a lot with a lot of comedy stuff. Yeah, man. I mean,
exactly.
one of my favorite roles, man, I played a Indonesian aerobics instructor.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the early 2000s, you know?
Okay.
So that one is like...
hot pink and everything, the
man,
fluorescent?
bro, booty shorts, bro.
Oh, okay, whoa. You got to show me this.
Hey,
okay?
man, I got to show you, man.
Yeah.
It's a crazy one, man. I'm talking booty shorts, bright yellow, all that stuff.
Wow, okay.
Dancing, shaking booty.
Set Indonesia.
Yeah, bro. Early 2000s, bro. It's like in a studio set. Oh, my, it's so much fun. It's like... It's comedy, but also there's some like drama elements, and I don't want to spoil too much because I don't think it's fully out there. It's still like the festival circuit right now. But bro, it was such a fun time. Like everyone was like, "This guy is too much of his character." You know, like I had a little too much fun.
Yeah.
And that was like going back to how like auditions go. That was another audition. Like you could ask my brother; he helped me with it. It was like I just moved to LA, bro, and my brother's friend that was also like a filmmaker had this role looking for like a Indonesian guy in their like 20s to play an aerobics instructor, and then my brother couldn't do it because he had another project or something like that, or I think he was going to China or something, and then he's like, "Oh, you should do it to my brother Patty." And then I read the thing; they have to do a choreo. I can't dance. I didn't remember the choreo. It was after a long day I think I was working at Squid Game at the time, or one of my jobs. You know, all the different gigs. I'm exhausted, bro, and I'm like, "Yo," to a guy that gave me the link to the audition. I was like, "Bro, I don't know if I can send it today. Can I send it later at night?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead. No rush, no rush." I sent it. I'm tired, bro. Didn't learn the choreo. Didn't know the lines. I told my brother hold the laptop on the side so I could read the lyrics. It's in Indonesian.
Those are some of the tricks, by the way, right? Yeah. It's all about just where the
eyeline, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro. Yeah. So I'm like sweating. I'm like I make up some lines out of it. And my Indonesian's like it's good enough, but bro, like different when you're doing like you're dancing and you're doing the bro. It was like a whole headache thing.
Yeah.
And I just sent it and I forgot it. And then they hit me with we loved your audition. I was like, what? Y'all tripping now. Y'all tripping. Get the call back, but then they're like, yeah, we would love to offer you the role. And then I was like, I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Cedric and everybody out there, all the young Indonesian filmmakers out there. They were on the podcast, but it's funny. I think all of them said how I didn't know any of the lines in the choreo, but since I embodied the character so well, they were like, forget that.
We'll ride with it. Yeah,
we'll ride with it. And shout out to the choreographers and everyone out there that helped me learn that dance because it was so complex. Because we did like a pemanasan, like a warm up, the actual routine, bro, and the cool down, bro. While saying, oh man, it was one of my funnest ones, but it was so freeing, bro, because it's one of those like comedy vibes, so you can kind of play with it. And the director was like, "Hey, go balls to the wall, go as ridiculous as you can because that's gonna help with the story because we need the contrast with the character that's more like the toned down version." And I love playing those characters because I went 1,000,000%, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's one point where I'm like goyang, bro, and I'm goyang. Goyang means like shake, so I was shaking that thing, you know.
Yeah.
Hey man, you'll see some of the clips.
I mean, especially if they're booty shorts,
hey,
right?
Man, booty shorts.
Yeah,
hey, man, they had to take mine down, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, if you know, you know.
Especially the Swedish ladies.
Yeah,
right?
of course, Swedish, you know what's up. You know what I'm saying? But bro, like, I love playing those like comedy stuff. It's like it's a different type of wheelhouse of skills. Yeah. And it's tough, man. But you do play. I feel like you play more serious roles. I've been seeing a lot of the roles, man. Because maybe the intimidation from big shoulders, 6 foot tall, 6'1" probably at this point. I feel like, man. Yeah. How do you, I guess, handle getting casted for certain roles, man? Because like there's, the typecasting thing. It's a real thing, man. But after people see you do certain roles, you kind of get, I won't say like stuck in it because you can still kind of get out of it. But I guess, how do you handle that, bro? Because you've been in this field for like years already.
Well, not just lately, but for some reason I always get the law enforcement roles, right? And so be it. You don't think about it. You're like, you know what? It's a role. Take it, right? The way I look at it is I just embrace it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, if this is the trend now, or this is what they see me as, I'm gonna ride with it. You know what I mean? And if it's gonna give me roles on major productions, who's to say no, right? And some of most of my biggest roles have been law enforcement, and that's just the way it is. I mean, like just with my stature and what have you, and I'm not the biggest guy, so to speak, right? So, but with that, you just, hey, they're looking for this, this role for you to play. I'm like, cool. I'm not going to question it. I'll take it. And it's just to get yourself out there, right? And if I have to play a law enforcement role the rest of my life, if it means to get a reoccurring role on a TV show, and that's going to help me along the way, yeah, cool.
opportunist.
I'll be that. Yeah, I'll be that ICE agent if you need me to. No, I mean, if it calls for it, right?
We're just gonna clip that part.
In character. Yeah.
That's the biggest.
Yeah.
That's
the uniform stays with the prop house.
Yeah. We'll get the hook, that part, and then just be like, in character, because then we'll get the views of the people that were like,
right.
yes, brother,
screw this guy,
or they'll love you. They'll be like, hey, man,
well,
especially if we put this on Facebook, like,
we're just,
you
have to do multiple editing, right? Just for whatever platform it is.
For Facebook, we gotta keep that, and then Instagram, maybe we switch it up. In character, bro,
I'll give you options.
I love it, man. The versatility, man. But while you were doing all this stuff, bro, you doing teaching, bro. Oh my goodness, man! Did so much like teaching middle schoolers, high schoolers, college kids, bro. I have so much respect for teachers, man. Next week we actually our theater teacher and basically like another dad to me and my siblings, bro. My boy Sean Mitchell, he's gonna be on the podcast too. My boy, he's inspiration, bro. I'm gonna praise him later on his episode, but he's one of those people that really believed in me, man. And like for someone that didn't really do acting and was very insecure with like my stage presence and just my confidence in general, and being like coming back from Indonesia, bro, not being comfortable in my skin, having the opportunity to perform and have someone that believed in me, that's a teacher that, I think he taught like English, literature, all that stuff, but his main thing was like theater and everything.
Yeah.
Having that support system, bro, is so like amazing. Like these teachers, man, they get underpaid. Like underpaid.
Can I tell it to my employer?
This is my clip for them. Yeah. He's underpaid. Give him everything, Give him billions of dollars.
I still want my job.
Yeah, don't worry, it's just coming from it. So it should be good. But yeah, bro, like that work right there, that's true, like that's another example of a field that's like love for the game, man. Because you don't do it for the money. Let's be real here.
Right.
Like if you were, bro, I don't know, you just be a teacher then if you were there for the money,
Yeah.
How, when you stumbled upon that, how did you blend those careers together, bro?
I'm glad you asked that question. First and foremost, Sean Mitchell, right?
Sean Mitchell.
You had mentioned also having that support system, even if it's a few, it's vital. Okay, it's vital, not just to this industry but life. Okay, I want to just so Mr. Sean Mitchell, for to be able to instill that confidence in him and just support goes a long way. And I'm pretty sure you understand that. And Patty's he's probably gonna just shower you with compliments.
Gonna be flowers. Bouquet section
for the next session. But how do I do it? Good. Yeah, sacrifice. I can't believe I haven't mentioned that word yet this whole podcast. But sacrifice. You have to be willing to sacrifice. Okay. I have a lot of friends who are actors, who are gig workers, who are Uber drivers. Okay, you have to figure it out, right? And as a gig worker or Uber driver, are you sacrificing money? Yeah, you're also sacrificing uncertainty as well too. For me, I wanted some kind of certainty, but I also wanted some flexibility. So I had to sacrifice something, right? I became a teacher. So for me was like, all right, I'm going to have to sacrifice pay and not be full-time status. So then I have some kind of flexibility with when a gig comes up. And luckily I did that because, you have to, like you had mentioned, you like to be prepared for things. You like to organize. You have to organize. You have to organize the plan to where, okay, well, I have to sacrifice a certain amount of hours, perhaps a lot of pay, so then I can keep this dream going, right? So I was able to work in a school where I was able to tell them if I have a gig, I can take off. I can find a sub or what have you, right? And I was truthfully honest with my employer, in this case, the director or the principal in most schools, right? I told him, like, listen, this is my, whenever you go in for an interview, or in this case, when I first started, the director was in his first year. He wanted to get to know all the teachers. I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. You asked me what I see myself in 5 years. I see myself being an actor. He's like, do tell him.
Bro, that's respect, bro.
Do tell him. I'm like, here's why. So I don't want to blindside you with anything. I told him my passion and what I want to do, and he's like, cool. All right, I'm glad you told me that. So, you have to let them know. Not, yeah, are you sacrificing? Like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about this person. We may put them in the chopping block, right? Or we may, if someone needs to get laid off, maybe it's this person, right? So you're also sacrificing. you're sacrificing your job too.
Yeah.
So for me, you just do it, right? Fortunately, I've been able to find some kind of formula, some kind of schedule to be able to work both things out. And again, it's worked in my favor.
Yeah, and I think also it's good for the consciousness too, because then you're like, also you don't feel bad if you have to, leave class room because of an important audition, because you're like, hey, I did tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
exactly,
because then you also don't want to be that like grimy person that's like just like hustling, but also stabbing people in the back kind of thing,
It's hard to do.
Yeah,
and the thing is, it's like you said, like grimy, like are you able to, like for me, I ask myself, can I live with it? And my answer is no.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it's better just to be out there and be able to be forward with them, and take it or leave it. That's just and I think most of the time people appreciate the honesty. So that's what I rode with. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man. What's your favorite grade to teach then? If you had to pick one.
They're all unique in their own way. Okay. For me, as far as class, I love to teach like geography. That's why I love the humanities subjects. Ethnic studies, history. Obviously, the higher grade kids, like the 11th or 12th graders, they're a little bit more mature as opposed to a middle schooler, right? There are goods and bads of all of all grade levels.
Puberty.
Exactly. I mean, if gun to head, I would say definitely college kids, right? Because they're there. They're paying to be there on their own, and it's a merit system, right? So it's like you do the work, you get the grades. This is for your future. You know what I mean? So I'm just here to facilitate that. And for me, it doesn't matter really what grade. As long as that I'm reaching them. If they're interested and I'm reaching them and they're engaged in the subject, I kind of just forget like the age range that I'm teaching, because they're receptive. They're discussing, they're showing their interest, they're engaged. That's all I ask for.
Wow, man, this guy, man, I'll tell you, versatile, and he brings it into his performance as well, because you've also done a lot of like industrial, PSA stuff for DARE, right?
Yeah.
What does DARE stand for again? I forget.
What is it?
Is it drugs?
It's drugs. Yeah. Okay.
I forget. It's been a while for me.
It's DARE, DAR.
Drugs are.
Drugs
are.
Oh my goodness. You're putting me on the spot, man.
I didn't know. That's why
I used to recite that all the time.
I'm sure, yeah.
Dare to keep I remember the song.
Yeah.
Dare to keep a kids off drugs. But I'm like, what is it? Don't. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to Google that, man.
Everyone leave it.
Spot,
don't worry.
Oh my
everyone
gosh.
leave it in the comments. Just the beauty.
I used to memorize that.
No, I'm sure, man.
Much.
I mean, you've done a lot of those PSA videos, man. Like that's why everything just kind of mixes together. Your skills in teaching go hand in hand with the survival of those videos, because those industrials, man, they pay pretty good, man.
They do. They do.
Man, you gotta do what you gotta do out here.
Right.
We're hustling out here. Like we were talking about too, not just with opportunities for like getting the reps in, but also the money. They pay.
Yeah.
They pay good. You got to take every opportunity that you can, especially in this industry. You know.
And that's a cool thing about this industry, is right. I mean, it's you can have like a gig that's like you said, like maybe like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang, this is like 2 weeks worth of pay, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, this is looking good. Yeah.
And there's some that are like, all right, it's decent, but it's not. Yeah. You just have to pick what gig it is.
Absolutely. It's especially if you're early on in the career, for the people that are trying to like break into it. It is a lot of yeses in the beginning, I would say. After you kind of get your footing, you do have to learn the power of no, though, because it's impossible to do everything. It really is. Like, you literally have 24 hours in a day. You can't sleep 0 hours, and then you have to do a podcast, then you have to go on set, then you have to work at the cafe, then you have to train someone. Like, there's a certain point where burnout is real. And I've held those blocks before where I'm like, I'm doing too much, Yeah. And it's hard for people, like, that are very focused and, like they say, they got that dog in them, because the dog doesn't want to sleep. The dog wants to keep going out there. So finding the balance of also like, hey man, today's the day where I need to rest, and it goes back a little bit to religion, but like, God had a day of rest. Like, an all-powerful being, whether you believe in God or not. If it's a story or fable, whatever. If something that powerful had a day of rest, you tell me I can't get a day of rest. You can't get a day of rest. The person watching this right now that's liking, sharing, subscribing, all that stuff is not having a day of rest. Come on now, it's crazy. So this is your reminder to keep pushing, but also like find the time to just relax, maybe plan a trip. Watch this video again, this episode again. You know,
the more likes,
the more likes, the
views,
better.
yeah.
You know, maybe we'll get a part 7.
Yeah,
because there's other parts in OnlyFans coming soon. You know all our trips to Bali.
I'm very curious now. Like, is this guy telling the truth, or right?
You'll find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Bali though, Balinese tattoo artist, man.
Yeah.
Man, is that your first role as like a technically Indonesian?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
How did you stumble upon that role?
Well,
man?
my agent got it for me, and he was like, "Oh, this is gonna be like a Balinese tattoo." I had to like look at it again. I'm like, "You sure? Like what production wants to like highlight Indonesia?" Yeah. So I'm like, "All right, cool." So did the audition, and then great, they liked it. Giovanni, thank you. And so it was cool. It was a fun gig. It's out. I guess I can say this, but unfortunately, there was some I don't want to say mix up, but there's something going on in the production, and my part got cut out. But it was fun nonetheless. Yeah, it was fun nonetheless. It was a start to something better.
It's not the agent, right? Make sure it's not the agent.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I thought I turned. Hold on. Let me. It's my dad.
Oh yeah, important. Remember, like we said, shout out to dad.
I'll get back. Let me.
Yeah, send him a little text. Be like, hey, if I'm sorry, we're on the Patty Show podcast.
To somehow
jailbreak. These dads.
Is that what it is? Jeez, because he's not really technically savvy. So.
Hey man, my dad did the same thing. I don't know where I put on Do Not Disturb when I need to sleep.
That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at him like I put him Do Not Disturb, and usually like.
Bro, like I said, dads are magicians out there, man. Shout out to Pops over there, man. Yeah.
I'll call him later. Yeah.
Shout out to all the Pops, man. But you've done so many roles, bro. Like I could keep listing all of them, man. But you were also a forensic examiner, bro.
I'm trying to recall what role. It was one of. I think it was a smaller role, but it was one of those like YouTube things.
Yes.
And it was fun. I think it was in San Diego. You meet an array of film style of filmmaking, and you just gotta adapt, right? And this one was a quick role, but it was an interesting role because I'd never played a forensic examiner before. But it was for like a YouTube channel, so again, there's a lot of just different platforms and different avenues of filmmaking content creating.
Like the vertical stuff now, it's going crazy now. Multi-billion-dollar industry, like there's so many opportunities over there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've only done one vertical. But with verticals, you it's hard to trace. You know what I mean? And it was just like a little small little role, and I can't remember the title of it, but I know that's the one thing that a lot of people are getting. These verticals.
There's a lot on Actors Access, man. I see I think like 60% of it now is like
really.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot, bro. Yeah.
Whew, okay.
Maybe we'll be in a vertical together,
Yeah, we could do a vertical,
right? We'll do what would our dynamic duo called? The Boys in Sweden.
Yeah, there you go.
Very specific audience.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, it could go many ways.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It depends on our market. We can do like multiple scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do like one good for the family and one good for OnlyFans.
Yeah. I'm really curious now. Like, is this guy telling the truth?
I don't know. We'll find out on the next episode of Patty Show podcast.
Yeah, with the theater teacher, right?
I'll explain.
Like,
what? What? He's the one that gave me the idea.
Okay. What inspiration, man.
Yeah. I know. He's the homie. I love it, man.
Yeah.
But bro, talking about that, working with Colin Farrell, bro, Sugar season 2, man. Mm-hmm. You already talked about like the good energy he brought as the lead, man, the head honcho, basically. Like everything culturally goes to from the top head, bro. Mm-hmm. Walk me through like a day on set for that, man. That must have been like such a great moment. I saw your post on Instagram, like getting the SAG and everything.
Yeah.
The picture with him, the contract, all that. Walk me through that like a day in that exact moment.
Yeah. So I was nervous. I'll tell you that. But it was one of those things where you were nervous, but you were so excited too, right? Just for the opportunity because you've been waiting for this, right? Got there. Shooting up north. When I mean up north, a little bit north of LA. It was a it was a outdoor location. Got there pretty early because you have to do wardrobe, you have to do makeup.
But
and
it's
all
always
that.
nice to go early, man.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah. And then you get your trailer and everything, and you're practicing your lines. And the cool thing, I had a co-star as well too. So we were just talking. We were able to like just kind of ease the tension, ease any kind of nervousness. By just talking and just, hey, how you doing, blah blah blah, and get to know one another. And so we were waiting. We were waiting. That was like the first. I think it was 9 o'clock where my call time was.
Yep.
And then wardrobe, hair, makeup. So we just waiting a little bit. Then lunch comes around. Boom, got to eat. We haven't worked yet. And then it was like right after lunch. It's your turn. I'm like, all right, cool.
Ooh, man, right. I feel your nerves already, bro.
Yeah. So it was like, all right, cool. And then it was like, all right, are you guys ready? I'm like, cool. And I'm like, damn, I wish I didn't eat because I feel so bloated, right? but then I'm like, all right. So we go there and take us to set, and then got to talk to the director. We had introduced ourselves prior to that. Michael Morris, who was like the executive producer for Better Call Saul, and he was just awesome dude. And we got there. He's just showing us, all right, this is where it's gonna be, blah blah blah. This is this, this is this, and then you hear the PA go, all right, Colin's coming in, and we're like, and I hear that, I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't hear that because all of a sudden my heart was beating, and then as Michael was explaining like the scene and everything, you see Colin come in and go right behind him, and we're like, oh man,
this is real.
Yeah, it was like, real. Right. And then I remember like the last like 5 seconds of what Michael was saying. I don't remember him. I don't remember anything he said. So it was like, oh, okay, cool. And all of a sudden he's like, you guys ready? It's good. Like, cool. Yeah, we'll go to rehearsal in a second. I'm like, all right, cool. Then Colin comes up, and he goes, hey, how you lads doing? And I'm like, hi, good. I'm Colin. And in my head, I'm like, I know who you are. Yeah, I know who you are. And I'm like, oh, I'm Victor. Nice to meet you. Yeah. And the other co-star too. He's like, oh, I'm Christian. How you doing? Blah blah. And they're like, oh, he's like, you lads ready? I'm like, yeah, we're ready. In my head, I'm like, I don't think I'm ready.
I don't think I'm ready.
Yeah. So we were about to rehearse and everything, and we went through our I can't go spin, but we went through our first rehearsals, right? And of course, I was nervous and making sure that I got all the lines out.
Yeah.
And then they checked the camera and everything. We're like, cool. Colin comes up, hey, good job, guys. And we just pat ourselves. Like, oh, that's awesome. Ooh. And then we're like, all right, guys, we'll get you guys propped up and then we'll come back in. Yep. And yeah. Mm-hmm. And then when we went out there, Colin started talking to us, and he was like, I remember him coming behind me and just like said some joke, and I was like, oh, okay. So then you felt like, okay, the tension is eased. He's joking around. He said a good job to us, so I mean nothing can go wrong, right? Unless you mess up. But so I was like, all right, cool. This is this is gonna be fun.
Had that breath right at that moment,
and it was just everything was just it was just amazing. I mean, the crew, the cast, and just that overall environment. I didn't want that day to end. To be honest with you, I did not want that day to end. I was like, can I just spend a night in my trailer and just not go to work and I don't want this day to end, but obviously it had to end. But it was such a great experience. You never think like you would be working with an A-list star. Like especially someone that you've grown up watching.
Oh yeah,
man.
And
then him just to be like, we're coworkers, man. You know what I mean? And I remember when we wrapped, it was late at night because I had 2 scenes. He came up behind me after he came up and he goes, because we had talked earlier, congratulations. This journey, continue it. I just remember you belong here, and because I was like,
bro.
I was like, okay, okay. And then Michael came up behind the director. He's like, great working with you. Thank you for all your concentration, all your hard work, and I would love to work with you again. That made me be like, I had no idea because I know the makeup people and the sound the sound person was on and like unpropping me. I'm just standing there like, what just happened?
Yeah.
I can't believe this happened.
In awe.
Yeah, in awe, and just like I wanted to tear up, but I wanted to make sure like I showed them like I've been here before, which I haven't. So, but it was just one of those things where I'm like, wow, you know what I mean?
Blessed.
This is definitely a blessing, and I'm like, I could get used to this. And I remember you had mentioned like going back to certain things like that would always motivate you. That feeling that I got, I'm like, I want that again. I remember how I felt. I'm going to do everything I can to achieve that feeling, and I'm going to get there. So, God let me experience that. It's like, all right, well, if you want this experience again, just trust in me, and also work for it. Just believe that you're going to get it, and then treat every single gig, every single moment you're on scene. Be thankful, and so that's what that's okay. Okay, cool. I want that again. I want that permanently. Whether it's soon or later or whatever. I'm gonna work towards it. I'm gonna be patient. You know what I mean? And just keep on praying and just leaving it out to Him that this is it. You know,
bro, that's beautiful. I got goosebumps thinking about that, man.
I still do. I mean, I just not only talking about it, I get pretty emotional, but at the same time too, I get goosebumps because I just can't believe that happened. You know what I mean? I just can't believe that happened. So yeah.
Man, shout out to you, man. Shout out to Colin Farrell, all the directors and everyone out there, bro. Bro, that's transformative, man. And
it is.
It's gonna come sooner than later. Maybe even before this episode comes out.
Yeah.
Some big news. I don't know. A lot of NDAs. That's the only thing with the industry. Like, whenever my friends that aren't in entertainment, they're like, "What are you working on?" I'm like, "I can tell you some of it, but some of that stuff, I don't want to lose like $500,000.
Yeah, exactly.
They will sue you like crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, like, when I got into a game show, bro, I signed a crazy NDA from. It's out now, so Amazon, they got money. They got money out there.
Yeah.
But that NDA was strict, bro. Like, I didn't tell anybody, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I did. No, but Amazon can't sue me now. So I'm good. Watching Amazon Prime. Wishlist games. But my inspiration, Nick Cannon, my boy.
Yeah.
Minus the personal life. I don't want to have like multiple baby mamas. But the way we're moving, maybe in Sweden I might. So, I don't know, maybe.
That's for his other channel, right?
That's for the other
so
channel.
I hear, yeah.
So I hear, yeah, from my other channel. But bro, you also have a podcast too, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Tell me about the podcast and when are we going to be there for your episodes over there?
You know what? It's funny because it was sort of just an experiment. This actually was in 2021. It was during the COVID shutdown. And there was really not much I can do. So I was like, let me talk to some of these actors that I've worked with and just create something. Just do something. Just stay active in any kind of form of this business, right? So I started to do it. Myself and two other friends, we just decided let's interview some actors, and we could do it all online. We could do it through Zoom, just to get ourselves doing something,
Get those creative juices going.
Yeah, exactly. And you could attest to that, right? So for us, it was just we were like, what do we call it, right?
Oh yeah.
And I remember my friend, he's Samoan, and the other guy's Filipino.
Okay.
He was just, we were like, what do we call? I don't want to call it the Victor Mambu show because I was like, because there's three of us, so like, why would you know what I mean? Why would it just name me and not you guys? And then I remember my friend goes, yeah, we're like Asians, but we're like the darker tan.
I like that.
And I was like, the darker tanned Asians, because that's all we are. And it's not so much that, because a lot of people are like, oh, darker tanned Asians, that means like your guests are only darker tanned. No, the hosts are darker tanned Asians. The guests, we're not discriminating anybody. It could be anybody. So we just started, and basically what it is, and I haven't done it for a while, kind of shelved it for a little bit. Just get a bunch of actors and filmmakers to come on and just talk about their journey and any piece of advice or encouragement that they can offer. If it changes one person's life, then yeah, that my podcast has just done its job. You know what I mean? So it was something to do, to get us to keep us active in this field in any way, shape, or form, but also just to help people out.
Yeah, man. Shout out to that. What is the handle again?
At Darker Tanned Asians.
So
we've been a little bit on a hiatus, but we might come back, and this is the inspiration.
Another dark tan.
I'm exactly, and I'm learning from him, because he's been doing it for a while, and I was like, I got to get a lot of tips from this guy here, because he's perfected this. So,
man, you're too kind. You're too kind, man. You guys gotta watch the episodes. There's some really good ones. Like you have some like Sealat Masters over basically, bro. I saw that episode.
Yeah.
And also, you got linked to other podcasts with your other friends. I watched a couple of those episodes.
Yeah.
So there's just so much. You got to see the whole ecosystem. It all connects over there. It's such a blessing. And why I love like podcasts and just like these shows is you can really flesh out the stories. Like I love my short form content, love all this stuff, but with short form, you only have like maybe 10 seconds, 30 seconds to get to know somebody. Here, you can watch the whole Patty Show podcast. You know, we've been talking about everything out here. Let's talk about our talking points finally. Like I said, we always like to go around everywhere, but you have a lot to tell, bro. Our first talking point, bro, on passion, training for the future. What habits are preparing you for your dream life right now? What are those habits to get you back to that Colin Farrell moment?
One, first and foremost, just believe in God. You know, just trusting Him and His plans. You know, it's no mistake that He's always gotten me back into this industry. Okay, so for me, it's like for those times that I wanted to take a break, you know, and then showing me signs of like, maybe this is what I want you to do. You have to believe in that, right? And you have to believe that this is the path that He wants you to take.
Have the faith.
Yeah, and then also just you know, again, I've been doing this for, you know, a little over 10 years, and the grind, all the heartache and all the negativity, you know, for all the successes, the recent successes, or any success, this is why you do it, right? This is it. Every little thing that all the gigs that you get, it overshadows all the negative. You know, for every one gig,
facts, bro.
Yeah, for every one gig,
100 rejections is nothing if you get that. You know,
exactly.
And we've had a lot, I'm sure. You know,
right? Yeah, I can't count how many times I've been rejected. It's probably in the hundreds or maybe thousands, right?
Yeah.
But that's what keeps you moving forward, right? That's what prepares you to get the life that you want, right? And the life you want is just basically just being, you know, I really don't care for being famous, to be honest with you. It's just I want to be able to work in this industry in any kind of you know, fashion, and if it means for me to you know, just fly under the radar, but be able to just make enough to make a living, but doing this, that's all I can ask for.
Man, that's all that pleasure, man. Connecting to the second talking point, man. Loving the training. How do you enjoy the journey and not just the destination, man, or the outcome?
The journey leads you to the destination, right? And for me, the journey is all about that, right? Because then once you get to that destination, you can look back at the journey and be like, it was all worth it, right? And prior to 2025, you know, I thought I would just be only relegated to like student films or something like that. Nothing wrong against them. It's just, you know, when you're in this industry for a long time, you're thinking like, when am I getting my big break, right? And then for me was, you know, when that happened, it was like, yeah, that journey was all worth it. Like you had mentioned, you know, for all those rejections, just that one gig, one major gig is like, wow, that was.
It's also that sigh of relief, you know.
It is,
and the identity thing, like we talked about earlier in the conversation, where like now you're like, oh, I belong, you know, because you see the evidence. The evidence is right there, you know, that proof that I'm here. Is my trailer. I'm here with my homie.
Yeah.
Big C, you know. I don't know if you called him that, but
yeah. I mean, that can go different ways. Right?
Yeah. Sorry, my boy. You'll be on the Patty Show podcast soon. Don't worry.
But it was you know, it's all worth it. I think, and you have to have some kind of struggle to understand that these little things, these big victories. Okay, now I know I got all that out of me. You know, I understand how to endure and get back up again. You know. Because it's real life is about when you get knocked down. It's like, are you going to get up? And how are you going to get up? And how are you going to sustain that, right? So for me, it's been done that, right? I know the feeling of being all the way in the bottom. I know the feeling of being all the way to the top, right?
Yes.
At least in my standards, right? So it's like, all right, how do we maintain? How do we sustain that, right? And now we know what it feels like to be rejected. All right, let's always get back up. You know,
I love that, man. He's bringing that positive energy, man. Just like our final talking point, positivity, believing that it's possible. How do you keep belief alive, man, on those hard days where, like you said, maybe you got that 100th rejection? Or what's the worst thing, bro? This is the thing I hate the most. Like when you get a veil hold, they're like, are you available these dates? 100%? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then crickets, bro. Okay. It's like worse than like getting ghosted. Yeah. Maybe not though, depending on if it's a Swedish supermodel. Respond to my DM again.
Or a Swedish supermodel casting agent.
Yeah, that's even better. You know?
Right.
But how do you like hold on to that belief, man, on those days that like it's like everything feels like it's stacked against you, you know? So many rejections and you're like maybe not feeling well and X, Y, and Z.
It's definitely something that all actors go through, right? it's again how you pick yourself up. If you pick yourself up, it's very easy to be like, oh, it's not gonna happen, right? Because we've had those days. God knows I had those days where like, yeah, maybe it's just not possible. But then you stick with it, okay? You have to look at life in what do you see yourself as? How do you value yourself, right? I think it all really starts with the identity and belief in oneself. You have to be able to know that you belong there, right? Now, when Colin told me, hey, man, you belong here, that to me was certification that I did. But before that, I had already known I belong here. You have to think that way, because you have to not only stay positive, but no one's going to believe you unless you believe in yourself, right? And people see that. People can read that. If you're always going to pity yourself after a rejection or after a no, right, or any kind of loss, people can see right through it. And they really, that dejecting feeling is transparent to a lot of people. And no one wants to see that. Everyone, as easy it is to be like, I'm just going to give up. This is not worth it. Like, do you want people to pity for you, or do you want that instant result, right? That's why it goes back to your question about the journey. The journey is all worth it once you get there. You have to believe that you're going to get there, right? And all these things are setbacks. And again, I'm bringing back our faith into this. God's blessings are a lot bigger, and these setbacks are just minor. This is going to test your, test your character, test your faith, and you really truly got to believe that. You got to believe that, and you got to believe that there's going to be better days. Okay, and if I'm any testament, I went from all the way from the bottom to background in a student film where a lot of people are like, oh, that's what
like, what are you
that's
doing
what we
here?
see. What we see you as, but then other people see, you if you work at it, or if you really just believe in yourself, people will see that you're more than that. You know what I mean? So you have to have some kind of confidence as well too. I'm not saying be egotistical, but you got to show that you like you said, balance, right?
Yeah.
You got to show that you belong here.
Absolutely.
Too. And don't let anyone else tell you don't, because in this industry, in our culture, people are going to question you
Absolutely.
on what you're doing. It's tough, but you got to sort of erase all that, have tunnel vision, and again, surround yourself with a lot of people. You brought up your Sean Mitchell, You brought up your theater teacher and mentor, essentially, and even if it's just one person that's going to help you, and even if that's the only person you have to support you, that's enough, because that's the one voice that you need, right? And that's what you do. You surround yourself with good, positive people. That's vital, as I mentioned before, and you keep going. And you just kind of block out all the noise, because again, energy, keeping that ember alive is what's going to get you there. You know what I mean? So, and I hope I'm a testament to that, because after 10 years, I could have given up easily. I hate to use that word, but it's trust me, there's a lot of people that have told me you're not going to make it, you shouldn't, and why are you doing this? And I'm sure there's a lot of people I know that want to see me fall. But at the same time too, it's just like, I'm gonna keep going. That should energize you. Use that negative energy as fuel. Okay, I know that's so elementary, but you should. And once you have that and you have a good support system, like we said about the Indonesian-American scene, nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing will stop you. If that's anything, I have to say to keep me alive during these hard moments is that really just keep that fire alive. That's all you need to do, and let God take care of the rest.
Yes, sir. And you're doing it more than just for yourself, but the community, man. We're so grateful to have you on the show, man. The amazing energy, man. Part 2 in Sweden, maybe in Bali. We don't know. Maybe in the premiere with Colin Farrell again. Maybe he'll be on the episode. We'll get him there soon. But bro, I'm so, like I said, so grateful, man.
Thank you so much.
Insight. I'm so grateful. I learned a lot of things about your life, and a lot of overlap, a lot of new things. I learned about you, man. I mean, so many different things. Where can we find you on social media and all that good stuff? LinkedIn, maybe?
Yeah, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you'll see the teaching side of it. But Instagram, I'm at V as in Victor, J as in John, M as in Mary, 62481. It's basically my initials, my full name initials, and my birthday. I mean,
there we
proves
go.
to you that I'm 45. With the numbers, yeah. But that's that. Facebook. I don't do politics, so I'm still on Facebook as well too. WhatsApp. Well, we can figure that out.
Yeah. I don't know if you want everyone to hit up your line after that.
What happened to this? Yeah. But yeah.
Any future projects that you want to tease out there besides the other ones that we talked about?
Hopefully some bigger ones, but I think these two that I'm working on as a producer and I think acting as well too, director. Hopefully when there's more information that could be let out, I can give this guy an update.
Yes.
And you'll see me and him working together
absolutely.
very, very soon. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Very, very soon.
And we appreciate everyone tuning in at Patty Show Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. PattyShow.podbean.com. PattySetziati.com for everything you need. If you're looking for fitness, PattySetziati.com/fitness. PattySetziati.com/podcast for podcasts. And all that good stuff. We're so grateful. We usually like to end the show with a little bow and arigato.
Okay, arigato.
So whenever you're ready, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Arigato.
Arigato.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of The Patty Show. I hope you had as much fun as I did exploring the crossing point of the 3 Ps: passion, pleasure, and positivity. If you want to keep the Patty Party going, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and all social platforms at Patty Show Podcast. Share this episode and leave a positive review. PattySetziati.com/podcast, as well as PattyShow.podbean.com have got more of your Patty Show needs. In the meantime, keep passionately pursuing your personal paradise. Arigato.